Round 22 review. This was a massive round of football, Jesse. Some of the best games that I've seen all year. That game between Melbourne and Fremantle was quite scintillating. What did you think?
It was scintillating. We actually have a message in the chat already loaded. Was that the best game of the year? Ooh. I think somebody said. I'll just get back to that. Who said that? JSEP. I had a look on truefooty.com.au where you can rate games like their IMDb. That does make sense. But like on IMDb, yes.
I got it.
And it is currently the second highest rated game of the year behind Easter Monday. But it's actually 9.8 each. But Hawthorn v Geelong is still the highest rated.
Oh, I feel like it was better than Easter Monday.
Yeah?
I feel like the stakes were higher because it's a little closer to the end of the season. I feel like what Melbourne did, them growing as a team, made it more exciting. I know that's not objectively anything to do with the specific game, but the narrative around it was deeper.
I think a tie is about right. It's hard to speculate on, or like hard to separate them. Hawks and Cats has still got stakes to it. We just didn't think of it at the time, and it had the better finish.
It did have the better finish, I'll give you that. Although Bailey Fritsch marking the ball in the car park,
yeah, that was a great effort.
Was kind of nice actually. That still image I keep seeing. It's just Bailey Fritsch as like a bean pole, basically. That's
gotten some legs this week.
Yeah, it has. Sure. But we had other good games. I think Melbourne Freo was the piste resistance.
Yeah. Sydney, Port Adelaide, Geelong and Essendon.
Yeah, great games also.
Adelaide and Richmond. Mind you, that
was actually a good game.
Kind of.
In a way.
In a way, it was good. Yeah.
If you hate football.
Yeah, if you squint your ears.
Yeah, squint your ears. Gold Coast and GWS was a good game.
Yeah. I watched that one. Yeah.
That was tasty.
Again, just the conditions sort of made it a scrap. You're right. It was a good contest.
Did you think the Carlton and St Kilda game was good?
I was in and out of that. I was reviewing the Eagles game and I kept looking at the score and wasn't paying. Like, I didn't have a lot of interest in that.
Really?
Carlton were a fair way up every time I looked.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it had there were big stakes.
There were, yeah. But I was more invested in my Eagles review at the time.
Sure.
So I missed a lot of that one.
That is so you.
That is so me. Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the top 8 versus top 10 thing.
Yeah, I think we have a chat here from Rogi who says, to think the wildcard was brought in so there wouldn't be as many dead rubbers, yet 9 of the 10 spots are locked in, and otherwise it would have been an exciting top 8 race.
I disagree with this. So, okay, I'll bring up the ladder. Just bear with me for a second, Jesse.
It is worth saying that the top 10 is a thing purely for money.
Of course. Of course. But I do think that it has extended. I think we actually are having less dead rubbers because of this.
Yeah, I reckon over the last 6 weeks, we've had more conversations about finals permutations, about more games.
And because more teams are involved.
Yeah, even North winning on Thursday, which we're going to start
We're still in the race.
They're still technically in the race.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of not. You're kind
of not, but yeah.
What I want to know, because everybody's bringing this up as a talking point, and this is not against you, Rogi. I love your work. Don't get me wrong here. But the top 8 race, you've got Collingwood, who are in 8th place at the moment on 50 points. The Dogs are in 48 points, but they're floundering. Are they really? Would they be in a top 8 race? I don't know. I wouldn't trust them to get over Collingwood in this situation. They're only 2 points behind.
Yeah.
And then you've got Carlton in 10th on 44. So they can technically jump Collingwood in 8th if they win their next 2 and Collingwood lose their next 2, but that's a long shot.
Yeah, it is a long shot, isn't it?
So I would say that the only team that could make the finals from here would be Western Bulldogs. Not exactly a massive race.
Could Carlton not still make it even though they're 4 points behind? They'll probably...
No, they're 6 points behind Collingwood.
Okay. Oh, and that's who they need to leap. Gotcha. Yeah, okay.
So their percentage, the percentage doesn't matter because they're 6 points behind.
Yeah.
But they would have to, that's what I'm saying, they would have to win 2 games.
Yeah, and Collingwood would have to lose both.
Would have to lose both.
I'm with you, sorry. Yeah.
Quite unlikely, I would say. And then Geelong are on 52. So they're 2 full games ahead of Carlton and 1 full game ahead of Western Bulldogs. But they have 120% to Western Bulldogs 93.
Yeah,
so there's that's too big of a gap.
Yeah, the Dogs are pretty disappointing at the moment. They'd be the most disappointed team to be sitting in the 10 right now.
They will, I reckon, lose to Carlton this week and drop to 10th.
Yeah.
And Carlton will go into 9th position.
I agree. And who would that set them up in week 1 against Collingwood, maybe?
As it's hard because
Geelong.
The mid-table is so close. Because Geelong are probably going to win out. So I don't reckon they'll be in 7th. Okay. I reckon Adelaide... It's hard to say Melbourne will be in 7th now, but I reckon it's Adelaide.
It's one of those 3.
Yeah, Melbourne, Adelaide, Geelong. I mean, Brisbane are still in it. They're in the mix.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the bottom line is the Bulldogs don't stand a chance of winning a final at this point.
Can you imagine if the Hawks ended up in 7th? Like there is still a world.
Yeah, I get it.
But let's not go there.
Yeah, it happened last year. They fell to 8th.
So if the Dogs fell to 10th, that would set them up with a final against either the Cats or one of those other teams.
Rogie pointed out Collingwood have Hawthorn and Brisbane to finish. We're actually streaming both of those games.
Hawthorn and Brisbane.
Yeah. So they could actually lose both of those.
They could. I guess, like, devil's advocate to that, Western Bulldogs and Carlton can't win both of their games because they play each other. Yeah. So that rules out, like, them being the team that jumps. But I see his point.
Yeah.
Jayos has given us a super chat here. Thank you very much, mate. If I'm a Saints fan, I would have serious concerns.
I think it'd be reasonable to have some doubts about the project after investing so much into the trade period last year. I think, if I'm being fair though, I and many others said this is probably more a 24-month operation to really surge into finals. So I can't sit here at 11th and really say what the hell. Do you know what I mean? I think they do have some issues supporting or surviving without Naz. You know what I mean? Like, he was the one chance they had to win that game, realistically. And I think in his absence, I admit I didn't watch the whole game, but they weren't that competitive, realistically. So are you saying that is like a system issue that they can't support without him? Or are you just saying it's like a non-sustainability thing in general of their list? Probably the latter there. If it was my team, I support a team that is overly reliant on one player as well. And it's like, well, if they miss footy or leave, what happens next?
West Coast is sort of in that category though, where they're so bad it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
anyway.
different thing, but the logic is still there. You'd love to have been a little bit more in that game, I would have thought, St Kilda.
Oh yeah.
So fair enough to have concerns, but I reckon the pressure heaps on next year. There's no honeymoon period with the new players. Ross Lyon's gone if there's no finals next year.
Yeah. I was talking to V the other day. She asked the question about how pretty much like what's the go with Ross Lyon? He's sort of like he's under pressure. He's not under pressure. Is he going to lose his job? And I basically said to her in that moment, I'm like, I wouldn't see any point in sacking Ross Lyon right at this moment because you've basically 2026 for them, as you said, like what did we both tip them to finish like 12th?
Mm-hmm.
I think I had them at
probably
12th, 11th, maybe somewhere in that, basically where they are.
Yeah.
You get in, the thing is with St Kilda, they've got two things going on simultaneously. They've got in a lot of big money signings that technically are in the right age bracket to push, but they're always going to take some time to bleed in, right?
Yep.
On top of that, you didn't have an already good team around them. So you had young players that are developing. I reckon, yes, some of the already good signings have been a little bit poor, but I reckon there's scope for them to improve when they gel into the team a little bit better. But the young players are still getting better. So what did you expect?
Yeah, I agree. I think I even said at the time, I think it's going to be more about the younger generation rising that takes them into finals rather than
because
Silvani
that's
and TDK.
the thing that they need alongside Nasai Wanganeen Miller. They need Wilson to be a star and Philippou to be a star. I think the improvement they've seen out of guys like Garcia, Max Hall's gone to another level as well. There's still some players that they really need to come along next year. Tyroo and Travalia are probably in that group. And then they need something more from their key forwards.
There's real stakes for them. So last week we were talking about West Coast and I said if they don't improve, the stakes are that they probably lose Harley Reid, right?
Yeah.
There's a similar situation at St Kilda
with Naz.
Where the Naz contract is parked for a year or two. Is he re-signed? But he's out of contract next year. If they fail to make finals, it'll be harder to make the case that this is where he should stay.
If they don't make finals next year,
that's what I mean.
That's really bad. Then.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's an issue now, but I'm saying next year is super important for selling that future to Naz.
I reckon the predictions that you could make this far out that are a fact, if St Kilda are at the midway point of next year, if they're out, if they've had just a shitty season and they're in the bottom 4 or 5, Ross is gone and Naz will be gone at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty worst case scenario. I don't think they're going to be in the bottom 4 or 5 next year.
I don't think they are either.
I think they'll probably play the finals.
But when we came into this season, we drew up that coaches board and we went, Michael Voss, almost certainly fucked. Ross Lyon's he's not there. He's not in where you're putting him in almost certainly fucked, but you're putting him in the category if this goes bad.
There's heat.
There's heat.
Yeah. Which other clubs do you think have heat on their coaches in 2027?
Clarkson.
McQualter probably.
Yes.
To some extent.
Uze.
He has to improve. Yeah, those three.
Yep.
Beveridge has always got. Yeah, I think Beveridge definitely.
Yeah, but he just never leaves his job.
No, he doesn't.
It doesn't matter for him.
I think this was their worst season in a while, to be honest. The Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're all bad. They've all been bad.
Yeah, I feel like this year with the Dogs, like there's been less amazing form, whereas previously they'd probably been like hot and cold, and now
Yeah,
this
they
year
started hot though.
it's all pretty mediocre. I suppose so. They did start well. They had a win at the Gabba, a win at Adelaide.
Pros, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a distant memory now.
Yeah, it does.
There's some bad losses in there too.
Yeah.
Adelaide and Sydney. I think one of them was at Marvel. Yeah, they've been unconvincing.
Injuries have been a big part of that, but at the same time,
that's true. Yeah,
it probably shows the lack of like evenness of their list. I think
true. Yeah,
for me as well. So, what do we got? We've got some comments in here. Christ.
Someone said, "Did the Eagles blow the game against Collingwood?" I don't think so. I think Collingwood just a well-oiled team that was always in control. Really.
Yeah, I was watching that game, and I must, your bandwagon. Obviously, I've got you, so I'm sort of I'm on this train. I'm on this West Coast train with you. I was getting pissed off with some like senior players that they would go on those like marauding sort of handball runs through the middle of the ground, and like they're fun when there was actually in this game there were a number of those that paid off. But like the amount of times like a Duggan or a Yo or somebody like that
Kelly,
gave this
one.
like hospital handball to like a Dersma in the middle of the ground, and you could just see it unfolding.
Yeah,
you're like, I know what's going to happen here. Bang, gone.
Yeah, Collingwood are a pretty good side still, even without the bottom third of their list or 22. Yeah. They are a very organised team. So,
for sure. We will kick in to some of these games. We've got to go way back to Thursday night, and probably the best game of the round, might I say.
Was it really? Better than Melbourne and Fremantle?
In a way, for me. Not on quality, definitely not on quality, not on ball movement.
But for sex appeal and pizzazz, razzle dazzle.
Defensive acumen, no. Skill, no. Talent, absolutely not.
But there's a certain suavity.
Suavity, je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, that's right.
as you say.
Yeah.
So, how did they do it? 100-77, the Kangaroos beat the Western Bulldogs, a 23-point win. You could argue, Jesse, and would you agree with me here that was North Melbourne's best win of the season?
I was actually
after we've just shit all over the Western Bulldogs.
I was going to argue, was that their best win since 2019? Like,
since 2019.
How many better wins of that's a scalp?
Yeah.
Like, I know we talked the Bulldogs down, but you can't keep moving the goalposts. This was the top 10 side.
It was a top 10 side, so not a top 8 side, but a top top 10 side. So they literally did move the goalpost for us last season.
Every team you beat disintegrates.
I love how you actually use that analogy of moving the goalpost when they literally changed the ladder.
Yeah, that's true.
To fit in a top 10.
That's so true. And Gold Coast, when you beat them, they disintegrated as well, to be fair.
It's actually true. We destroy them.
On a serious note, though, this is an outstanding win for the North Melbourne Footy Club. I kept saying it, but there was a 4 or 5 week stretch where you were playing teams that you were ambitiously trying to prove you're as good as, and you were close in a lot of them, and you got over the line in this one. It was a great win. Yeah. But when was the last time you had a win as good? Genuine question. I mean, I feel like there's been like kind of certain performances. I felt like weirdly the Port Adelaide win at the start of the season was quite a good win. I was really sort of proud. And there's been losses where I've been like, we actually played quite well in that game. Like we had the draw against Brisbane last year, which felt like a bit of a turning point. Sure. But no, this was good. And the fact that we were able to do it, we get these Thursday, Friday night games so rarely. And to have things like an LDU spinning and weaving and exploding and kicking goals, like to have those kind of moments, you remember them when they're on a Thursday or Friday night more than a Sunday afternoon as well. Did you see the tackles that George Wardlaw laid? Probably. I've forgotten. I did watch the game, but it was all the way on Thursday night.
There was one on Ed Richards, and I think the other one was on Selwood. My memory's kind of getting me back, but game-saving George Wardlaw-esque tackles. He's just so good. Yeah, no, I'm a big Wardlaw fan. I was a fan in that draft. Yes, because I thought we were going to take a pick there, but a trademark player. Would you take Wardlaw over? Well, you'd take him over Hewitt, no doubt. Yeah. Would you take him over Jinby? That's a tougher one. I think if you guaranteed Wardlaw's like hammies were fine, and just on face value, I'd expect Wardlaw to go earlier
See how I phrased it? I expect other people to take Wardlaw first.
But we wouldn't.
I didn't phrase it as I would take him because I'm too loyal. Yeah. I mean, he's a higher end talent. But, I mean, it's also valuable to have an amazing one-on-one defender.
So this conversation's interesting because I feel sometimes once a player becomes, like they get into the fabric of your team, you cannot say, I'll swap them for that other guy.
That's why you quick like rephrase it in my head because I struggle as well. I don't think I'm biased, but if I have to reframe it in my head is who would go first in the redraft. And then it's okay. But it's not like I'm not trading Jinby for Wardlaw.
Yeah. Like strangely, in my bias fan self mode, I would probably say like if someone said like, would you swap Harley Reid for George Wardlaw? Yeah. There's a part of me going, not George.
Yeah.
Like take anybody else, but not him.
Absolutely. But you'd expect Harley would go pick one in a redraft.
Of course.
And Wardlaw would go next or whatever it is. Not the same draft. So that's a clever reframe. It's the same thing with Carlton. They would never trade Jagger Smith.
I love how you're like, it was a clever reframe by me. Yeah. Jagger Smith's a good example too.
Yeah.
A very good example. We've got 123 in the chat. Jesse, what about the Dogs in this one? I think North were incredible. A consistent 4-quarter performance. There were, to be fair, there were a couple of little late moments. There was a moment where I think it was like Banch missed a really easy set shot, and I was like, oh my god! Like there was a Blamires moment, and I'm going like these VFL guys. I'm not sure if they're going to carry us, but they did. They also had their good moments as well.
Yeah.
Dogs though.
Well, I just want to also credit Paul Curtis. I don't know if you mentioned him.
Yeah,
he was
I forgot
outstanding.
About Paul Curtis.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fact that you withstood several challenges.
Yes.
Within the game, it wasn't just that you pummeled them on an off night. Like they kept coming and you kept responding. That's
right. I think David King said, I remember at the end of the game, him on the broadcast said North had to win it twice.
Yeah, right.
Because they sort of they went again and then we had to go again.
That's maturity.
That is maturity. Can I throw a little like, is this guy not as good as this other guy? But what do you think about this one?
That's very peep show.
Is Paul Curtis our Isaac Heaney? Could he be our Isaac Heaney? I know it's a weird comparison. Because Curtis, he doesn't have the tank at this point.
Or the midfield ability.
Yeah, but he was getting up the ground.
Yeah.
Heaney took a long time to become a forward mid.
Well, that's true.
He was just a forward for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, he's a very good player. He's probably a Heaney light.
Heaney light.
But I mean, you can still be a bloody good player and be Heaney light. I'd love to be compared to Heaney light.
He was turning it on in this game.
I get Borat light.
You are Borat light. Yeah. I get Kevin Sheedy light.
Yeah. You do an insane King Julian impression, though, to your credit.
Who?
What?
Who?
Let's move on.
Okay, what have we got? Boy says Curtis should get inserted into the midfield briefly during games, Jesse.
Yeah, what do you think of that? Because is that something you've trialled before? I feel like I've heard of it.
I don't think we have.
I suppose you've got other players or have had players that only play midfield, like your Tom Powells and your Phillips and your LDU.
Yes.
So that rotation, the modern rotation, has been harder for you.
I reckon Colby McCurch has had more access to midfield minutes than Paul Curtis, interestingly. But no, it's a shout.
JSEP says Rayner as the comparison
to
Curtis.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a fair comparison. I just saw him doing. I saw him. I suppose like Rayner does have an aerial game as well. There were just like Curtis has got that real specky in him that Heaney has, and there's a couple of times where he got on someone's shoulders, and I was like, that's a bit. it's a bit Heaney.
Yeah,
it's a bit Heaney like. Redback Spider 72 says every year the experts bang on about the Dogs list, and every year they fail.
This one feels different. This year feels worse. I think it's just because they're offensively so much blunter than they used to be. I know Sam Darcy's not there, but still.
But they're deliberately doing that, as in they're tactically doing that to shore up their defence.
Okay, how do you mean?
Well, they flood a lot of numbers back, which means when they go to push forward to attack, they're very disconnected.
Oh, that's true.
They struggle to move the ball.
But their percentage is also so much lower.
Yeah.
So that it speaks to multiple things happening at once. Like they're defensively been opened up. As much as they've been trying to compensate for it. Huge losses this year at times. Geelong, Adelaide, Sydney, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then unconvincing against West Coast.
I think the thing in this game, when you were looking at it, they were still they're really pushing for a higher position on the ladder. This was a big game for them too. And I think that's why it was such a good performance from North, but they got smashed in the midfield.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, I wrote down what North scored from turnover. It was 53-24. Sorry, from stoppage.
It was 42 to 33 from raw clearance numbers differential, and it was total clearances. Sorry, hit outs 43 to 25. So Sherry smacked up English.
Yeah,
and the Trem dog.
Suddenly, the need for Butters is quite apparent.
Yeah.
No Libba, no Trelaw. Those names are gone.
So Libba played on the wing.
Yeah, I mean Libba's still here, obviously.
Which
but
is,
I just mean, like, I didn't mean
dead, Jesse.
Yeah, well, I said he's gone, but like Trelaw will likely retire. I don't know if Liberatore will, but either way, he's 34 this year.
Well, like I know, like you could make an argument that they could get midfield reinforcements, but like they've got Bond, pretty good player.
Yeah, I'll bet it 32 next year.
32, but he's playing well.
Yep.
Ed Richards.
Yeah.
Probably a top 10 to top 20 midfielder in the competition.
Yep.
They've got Riley Sanders and probably Cooper Hines as two younger.
Well, that's a big drop off in my opinion.
Well,
from Richards to those two.
No, it is. But Sanders is 2023 draft. He's 21 years old.
No, he could absolutely get better. I just don't know if that's a reason to not need Zach Butters.
No, but a Bontempelli, Ed Richards, Zach Butters midfield would be like a sick midfield. Like it's not as if you're going like, gee, they really need that extra midfielder. That is not the part of their team that they specifically need. I'm not saying that's a reason not to get Zach Butters, but that is not a hole in their team.
I wouldn't say it's a hole in their team, but there is a transition needed, right? Like Bond 32, probably going to play forward more, I'd imagine. That's the natural progression.
Any risk of getting a fucking key position defender though?
Jordan Butts linked to them heavily.
Yeah.
So they can do both.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. I mean, like not getting Zach Butters doesn't help the key back issue.
No.
I suppose you could say they couldn't trade for one. But if you can sign one as a free agent, they'll be okay.
Fair play.
But their team right now is in a world of pain, and it'd be fascinating to see what kind of pressure this heaps on Beveridge. He's always been under pressure, but
do they lose 9th spot? Whatever.
I think they do because I've done a ladder predictor and I had them losing it. So they play Carlton.
It's the Carlton. Like that's basically the game. If Carlton win that,
okay.
So
who else do they have?
Well, that's the thing because Carlton have Freo in the last round in Melbourne. Like
they're a chance.
That's a bit of a skin for the Dockers.
Yeah, I think that you can't rule out Carlton winning against Fremantle.
Yeah,
you can't.
I'm just going to bring up the Dogs just really quickly here. Bear with
Wardlaw
me.
played at 47 to 57% game times in Shadowlight. That's crazy.
He's like
that's
he
really
has got
low.
So much dog in him.
That's really low.
Really low. But that's the body, right?
Yeah, but if you're not injured, I'm surprised they carried him for 47% or.
Yeah.
Or maybe he meant on average.
Oh, maybe. No, he did have low. He had low tog.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
They've done that with him a lot in the past, though. Like they just make him really because he's not a major endurance athlete either.
Yeah.
So like you just put him on in spurts, bring him off. You get that's where you get those like big moments out of him. So the Dogs have Carlton into Melbourne at the G.
Yeah, they'll lose both.
Yeah, I think they do too.
Yeah. At the G, Melbourne will get them. Didn't Melbourne also get them at Marvel? Or no, maybe the Bulldogs did beat Melbourne at Marvel.
The Dogs had a weirdly like good run in the middle of the season. Yeah, the Dogs got the D's by 3 points at Marvel. That's interesting.
Yeah, the D's are pretty average at Marvel. And the Dogs were sort of getting results through that period.
They were.
I think they've still won 3 of their last 5. But they're just,
But they're just crap, aren't they? Like realistically. Sols Western Bulldogs fans. Blair Dacker says, why would Butters want to go to the Dogs? This has been talked about a lot this week.
Yeah.
You've got, let's lay it out. You got Geelong.
Yep.
You got Collingwood.
Yep.
You got the Western Bulldogs. You got Richmond.
Yep.
It seemed at one point like Geelong and the Western Bulldogs were clear front runners. Geelong have shit the bed, and not from an on-field perspective, but they've had all this stuff going on, Jesse.
They have, yeah.
That's would that play into Butters?
That's a good question. I think if you're Zach Butters, you'd be discerning enough to know like Geelong's still a good place to go, and this will blow over. Personally,
do you look at Nigel Lappin's just been poached from the club in the same week that they've had the College Asney thing go on, and be like, I get you. Like obviously they've got a track record, but it's maybe feels not the ideal time to go there.
Yeah, it's a big decision to turn down Geelong as much as it is to go there. You know what I mean? Like, you have some guarantee of playing in a good team and playing finals. The Bulldogs probably they actually have been a fairly competitive brand for 20 years now, right? So they're not a bad club to go to, albeit smaller market.
2 grand finals in 10 years is not bad.
Yeah. So to answer Blair's question, why would we want to go to the Bulldogs? Well, if the suggestion was true all along that he loves the club and bleeds blue and red, that's not going to have changed lately.
For some reason, and I don't exactly know what it is, I can't get around that being the reason that he would go there.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't normally happen. Yeah.
Well, also because okay, you're saying he bleeds red, blue, and white or whatever it is, but he just played for Port Adelaide. Like he just played against them and bled black, white, and teal. Why am I getting so like tricolour weird teams? Black, white, and teal. Like he was just a Port Adelaide player for the last 6 or 7 years or whatever.
8, yeah.
How could he also now be just like Western Bulldogs? Like I love you.
It's a good question as to why he wouldn't have requested a trade earlier. I suppose Port Adelaide's been through a really good stretch, and maybe he wanted to see that challenge out for a little while and always planned to come home and only wants to play for the Bulldogs. I don't know. I'm just sort of going off what's being said out there, rather than having a strong opinion on.
I just feel other forces will come through.
Yeah, so there was the news earlier that Collingwood have offered $2 million over times 8 years. Richmond would be ballpark similar. I'd imagine Geelong and the Bulldogs probably offering a little bit less.
A little bit less.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying there'll be money bags under the table with the Cats.
Yeah, that's true.
How on earth could Geelong afford Butters? Electro Boy says he supported the Dogs growing up. Yeah, I factor that in, but he's also just played basically a career at Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
I kind of feel wherever he goes, isn't he just going to embrace the club?
Well, that's what most players do, and I think JR says once you're drafted, I don't think your previous loyalties are that strong. I think I think that's absolutely true for maybe 99% of people.
Yeah.
I wonder how many other examples this has happened. Where this is happening.
Well, I need to get back to that point.
Yeah.
Because I think you get examples like, for example, Patrick Dangerfield, where he wanted to get back to Geelong, but I think he wanted to get back to the area more than he wanted to get back to the club.
That's different. What about like a Ginnivan? He was kind of pushed out, wasn't he? But he loved Hawthorn.
He was a Hawks man.
Yeah. So I think that was a factor.
Yeah, I don't think that's why he came to Hawthorn.
No, I don't think that in isolation, so it's not quite the same thing.
I think players, like when they go to move clubs, they might go, oh, that'd be nice. And that's about it. Like it just crosses their mind and they go, oh, imagine getting back to the old stomping ground.
Yeah. Look, when players get trades home to WA, and maybe this is also true of SA though, they often have a really strong preference.
To club town, that's different, isn't it?
A little bit different, but it's the logic's still kind of the same.
Was it Jordan Clark that you were saying was a really big West Coast fan, or
yes,
and anti-Freo, but West Coast didn't want him?
Yeah, West Coast didn't call him. And then there's been like Jesse Hogan, Luke Jackson, and Nathan Wilson all were like not even considering West Coast for reasons that were not of the fact that we were diabolically shit. I think from the memory, the timeline was we were still okay. I think we were still higher than Freo when some of those moves happened.
They were just Freo people.
Yeah. Which is weird because Jesse Hogan's dad played for Adelaide, which very few people know, and he was an Adelaide supporter but didn't want to play for us.
It's a curious thing, isn't it?
It is.
Support.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got here? We've got Redback Spider saying, don't discard Hawthorn from the Butters situation.
Well, they need to sort their shit out, don't they?
Hawks.
Yeah, like if they're seriously going to still have a pot for Zach Butters, then like get real about Zach Merritt and Ben King. Like you're not getting all three.
You're not getting Zach Merritt if you're getting Butters.
No.
Surely it's a Butters and or King.
I guess they can just sort of tease all three of them and then
get
and be like, oh, sorry, Zach Merritt. You clearly go Zach Butters now I think about it. But
100%.
But like if they are committed to those players, then they can't get Butters.
Just do this for me for a second. Just remove everything. Remove the loyalty situation.
Oh.
Think about two things, which I think most people are going to gravitate towards, and you see this time and time again. Think about, I think, number one for most players is the project, the footballing project. How good is this team? How likely is it that I'm going to win a premiership? I think that's number one. And then closely followed, number two is money.
I think it can be contextual because if you're on the other side of success, you're more likely to go for money.
Yep. So you've had success in the past, you mean?
Yep.
Yes. But Zach Butters fits into that player that has not.
Sure. No, I agree. What you're arguing, I don't disagree that this happens 99% of the time. But
so what's your decision? You're Zach Butters.
Oh, I'm Zach Butters. So if I was a West Australian player playing for a Victorian side and I was going home, I wouldn't consider Fremantle. But
That's different though. We established, Jesse, the rules.
I mean, are the Bulldogs such a bad project you don't want to play there? Like, are they really safer than Richmond?
But they're not the best project. They're
not
categorically
the best one
not the
available.
best project.
No, but maybe they can offer more than Geelong. And I think there's an argument that they're safer than Collingwood.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, Collingwood's
But
probably gonna stay
Hawthorn's
good.
better. And that's where I actually agree with Redback here.
Well, if Hawthorn come into the mix, then they're probably
Or
the
the
best
Dees.
choice. But
Someone else has thrown in the D's here. I still think Melbourne can get Butters as Fireblaze.
well, Stephen King came out months ago and said he implied that
They weren't in the race,
they weren't in the race because Zach didn't seem interested.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they'd almost be like them and Hawthorn fighting it out for number one for me. Imagine Zach Butters in that midfield. Even then, if they lost Sparrow, they could absorb that quite easily.
But I'm just saying that's what's the case. I can't defend Zach Butters' decision to choose the Bulldogs as such, but that is what is happening out there, right?
Melbourne also have picks.
I kind of like it. I like Butters. I want Butters
I
to
like
go
it too.
I want him to go to the smaller market club that doesn't sign these players.
If he genuinely just wants to do that, absolutely. But I'm trying to just read between the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels like if it was just the Western Bulldogs and that was it, we wouldn't have heard so much of this other stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention Richmond in that. Any chance of Richmond?
Yeah, for the financial reasons. It'd be an interesting toss-up between Richmond and Collingwood. Collingwood better now, probably going to stay good in reality, but some risk. Richmond, a fair way off it, but talented youth, but certainly still some risk there.
Yep.
Like, neither of those seem really safe.
No, I agree with you. We'll go to the next game, Jesse.
Yeah.
We've got to go to
That
the
was a
next
tangent.
game. Huge tangent, but I actually loved that.
Yeah,
that was
good.
hot.
I think the chat did too.
Brisbane defeated Hawthorn on Friday night. This was, wasn't it? There was no double header on Thursday or Friday this
No, I
week,
don't
was
think
there?
so.
Brisbane defeated the Hawks
Was it
by.
AFLW on
There
the
was
Friday?
there was AFL.
Or is that, no, that's this week.
So the curtain raiser wasn't it before the St Kilda Carlton game?
Yeah.
At Marvel, that was before that.
I got mixed up with the Friday night. It's next week.
I'll try this again. Brisbane defeated Hawthorn at the Gabba by 67 points, 125-58. This was probably the biggest letdown of the round because I expected Hawthorn to really go up there and want to challenge the Lions. They did nothing, Jesse.
If you look at history, Hawthorn, I think, have only won 2 of their last 26 trips to the Gabba.
Crazy.
And Hawthorn have won how many premierships in that time? 4 at least.
At least 4.
That's absurd. I know Brisbane have been successful too, but that is an incredibly poor record at the Gabba.
It is.
So from that point of view, I actually don't think this is a big deal. But was it a letdown? Sure.
It was a letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you. I don't think it's like season over for Hawthorn.
No.
It does just, once again, for me, reiterate that the Brisbane Lions, if they have to win a game, because they had to win this to keep in that top 4 race, they will win it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Again, while I don't mark it too harshly against Hawthorn as a blip on the radar, with Brisbane, I'm also not completely back on.
Okay.
I suppose both teams have had poor performances this year, actually. If you put them side by side, I think Brisbane's losses have been more alarming. Oh, I don't know. That Hawthorn one in Tassie was pretty poor. So there actually are some parallels between these two sides.
Was it against Melbourne?
Yeah.
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 Not as bad, but Brisbane also had the trust
6
factor.
points the margin at one point.
Yeah.
That's pretty absurd.
Yeah,
That's like a real statistical outlier. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Against Melbourne, who I do rate, but
Yeah.
are still kind of a young...
Tassie, like, doesn't
Yeah,
make
it
sense.
just doesn't happen, does it? Harris Andrews was ridiculously good in this game. He just marked everything, intercepted everything. This is where I go to that Jack Gunston thing, and as good as Jack Gunston is playing and is at the moment, in a game like this, he just offers nothing. When you need to just get the ball long inside 50 and you need key forwards to compete, like Hawthorn's forwards offered absolutely nothing. Gave Watson no opportunities. He didn't have a sniff. Pretty much any forward half player in this game for Hawthorn did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that kind of underscores why they're going for a Ben King.
Yeah.
Because that is a little bit more of that centerpiece forward that can help you in those contested situations.
Target man.
Target man, indeed. I think I said this to you because we streamed on Saturday. I think I said this to you, but I was like watching that game and it was still good footy, both teams. Like, not for, like, obviously the second half was a big drop off from Hawthorn, but when Hawthorn got goals, you're like, shit, that was nice.
It was nice. Yeah.
It was like a belting that was just entertaining.
They're still a quality team. We actually did debate whether that was just because we both follow really poor teams.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is still good stuff.
Yeah. But that hit a target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Morris, incredible. Did he kick 5 goals in this game?
6, I thought. I could be wrong. He had 4 pretty early. It
Yeah.
was either 5 or 6. I didn't write that part down.
Yeah, he was just an absolute menace. I've got to not shout out. What's the opposite of shouting out? Draw attention to his matchup, which was
out.
the stink out, which was Tom Barras defending him, and he looked like what's a very immobile object that I can.
Stone, a boulder.
He was like a boulder.
Yeah.
Trying to follow Logan Morris around. He was rolling around.
Yeah, that's a mismatch if ever there was one. I think as good as Tom Barras is, I think those types of key defenders are probably going to be from a bygone era at some point soon.
Yeah. An extinction.
Yeah, you like to keep up with those mobile key forwards like Logan Morris. You could see that it was always going to be a mismatch if Brisbane controlled possession, which they did.
Yes.
Where it's a little bit different is if Hawthorn are applying pressure in the midfield and the ball's coming in high, then Barras has probably got him. Yep. But Barras also wasn't given that luxury.
He really wasn't.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't a good day for him.
Yeah.
Logan Morris, here's a stat for you, Jesse. Do you like this one? In a full season of football that Logan Morris has played, where he's not just played a couple of games like he did in that kind of first season where he came in and was eating Maccas before the game. In a full season of football, he has not kicked less goals than Eric Hipwood's best ever goals. Does that make sense?
Yes. That's absurd.
Yeah.
Wow. What a star.
So he's had like consistent 50 plus goal seasons, and Hipwood's best ever is I think 41, maybe 43.
Yeah.
I'm remembering this off the top of my head.
That's actually incredible.
Yeah.
People are correcting me. So Morris only kicked 4.
Oh, okay.
I thought he ended on
Lohman
6.
kicked 5.
Yeah, Lohman kicked 5.
Yeah.
His season is also kind of going under the radar. He kicked 46. 46 goals as a small.
Yeah, I know.
Like Watson's not that far ahead of that.
No.
That's crazy output.
No, that's what I've been talking about for weeks too. Like when I love Watson, so don't take this. People are going to say it's Hawthorn hate.
Well, now they will. Now that you've given it with that. Let's start it with that.
But Watson is kicking a lot of goals as a small forward, as I think it's like there's never been a better time to be a small forward as well. Yeah. I think that plays into it.
Absolutely.
Not to take away from him at all.
Yeah.
Lohman's doing incredibly well, but it's a ground level game, is what I'm trying to say, Jesse. Dan Annable, debut. Did pretty well.
Yeah, kicked a nice goal.
Yep, kicked a nice goal. I think he had about 9 touches, so he wasn't completely prolific as he was as a junior. But any world you could see him keeping his spot, or is it as simple as Hugh McCluggage is available, comes back in the team?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I don't think you keep Annable in for any reason. Not with the
Hold
stakes at the
McCluggage.
moment.
You're like, he can wait.
Yeah. Oh, another 9, please.
That's good.
But he could get some opportunity next year with Lockie Neal leaving.
Another 9, please.
Oh,
yes.
Indiana Jones would disagree with the Boulder analogy, says Tom. I like that.
Redback Spider says
Cameron has 46 goals too. Someone did ask who's the most improved player of the year in the chat. Didn't get to it. It's Tom Sparrow. The asker asked about Tom Sparrow. I think statistically Bailey Williams is up there, but Charlie Cameron is also really high up there because of a return to form.
Yeah.
46 goals this year.
People were writing him off last year, probably including me. I thought he lost his pace.
Yeah. Sometimes we do that with over 30s and we think they're done, but they're actually just carrying something.
They're carrying something, yeah exactly.
Apparently it was Annabel's second game, by the way.
I just got a little sneaky piece of news here. Cal Toomey, the Western Bulldogs have lifted their offer to free agent Buku Karmas from 3 to 4 years, matching Carlton's 4-year deal for the versatile tall.
I thought it was weird to begin with the Bulldogs had offered 3.
Yep.
Like that's just asking for him to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be on the same amount of term, surely.
Yeah.
Do you think that means he'll stay?
No.
You still think he'll go?
Yeah, I have some info.
Not this again.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I'm just a jackass for putting that out there. No.
Come on, Jesse.
I think he's gone. Put it that way.
Okay.
But you know what? So Riley Beveridge also said that. So I didn't make it up.
Riley Beveridge said.
Riley Beveridge.
Mikhail Beveridge.
He said a while ago that he's more likely to go than stay. So I don't know in the last 24 hours if the offer has come in and that's going to change it. I wouldn't have thought so.
So you sent some sort of a SMS message or text message?
Yes, I have Riley on LinkedIn.
Oh dear. Okay, shall we move on?
By the way.
Brisbane Hawthorn. So you're not concerned. I sort of fit into the same bracket, although I'm probably a little stronger off this performance. It reiterated to me that you cannot deny this Brisbane team.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just gets predictable. Like they really needed to respond, so it's going to take more.
And the
than
pressure was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
And Hawthorn didn't seem like they were up to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a concern for the Hawks. I still do feel that the Hawks against these really, really robust contest teams, like they're going to struggle a bit in finals.
Yes,
even though I love them.
Trying to think of their head-to-head. I think the Lions got them at the MCG last year.
Yeah. Yeah, last year it felt like Hawthorn, they were pretty much better than everybody except for that, like probably the Cats, the Lions. I feel like there was somebody else.
Well, they were better than Adelaide and better than Collingwood, I'd say, by the end of it.
Yeah, so they were the third best team last year.
Yeah.
And I think they might be in a similar situation this season. It'll just be different teams that are ahead of them.
Yeah, true.
Brisbane, Freo. We move on to our game, Jesse. Melbourne defeated the Fremantle Dockers 113 to 109. And what I want to say off the top, and I want to see what you think about this and what the chat thinks about this, I think, and I did drop it a few weeks ago, we're sleeping on Melbourne as a premiership fancy.
Really?
Not fancy, like contender. I wish I got that better.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're in the best of the rest group.
I think they can sparkle.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They were very good. Then they've just beaten the best team in the comp. But again, I think, I reckon I would be on that train had that game been in Perth. But at the moment, there's still the lingering question of what happens when they leave the MCG.
Okay. Not to get off tangential here, but if we... not to get all tangential.
Not to get too tangential.
Do you have the same worries about Freo coming to the MCG
Not
off
at
the
all.
back of this game?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, I think they're a good MCG side. I don't think anything from that game has told me that they can't play the MCG. I think Melbourne played really well under a good team, and sometimes you fall short. But they lost by 4 points. Scored 109.
Can I say you on the Dees, though? They've still got Max Gawn.
I mean, I do rate them.
Sparrow, Petty, Fritsch, Lever and Salem, all premiership players. I believe they're all premiership players.
There's a splash of experience. They're certainly not as exposed as an Adelaide last year. Like Adelaide went into that with virtually no finals experience.
I think this team is the way that they play is better than the Crows.
Yeah, I think it'll stack up.
Yeah.
But can they win out and win the flag? I'm not sure yet.
Do you want it to happen? That'd be hot, wouldn't it? I'm honest. I'm on the
I would love that to happen, to be honest. I'm anyone but Freo at this point.
Yeah. I just think the D's, I love it. They were bold in the off-season. They got rid of their players.
Yeah.
I think they took too long to do it, but they did it.
Yeah.
They got Stephen King in. It's a new coach. It smells good.
I think that would be a better grand final matchup than the Swans. Like Freo's going to be
Dockers
there.
and Melbourne.
Yeah, so Freo's going to be there. I would much rather see Melbourne in there than the Swans.
Okay, big questions here then. If Alex Pearce plays, do the Dockers win?
The game on the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But that's because it's a game of fine margins. You improve certain variables. You could do that for both teams.
Yep.
So probably. But, I mean, Fremantle's been blessed with injuries this entire year. Was he injured or managed? I think he was managed.
I think he was managed
too.
Yeah.
So, it's probably unfair to say take anything away from Melbourne on the basis that the Dockers were missing one player. They've had like 3 injuries all year.
Dockers fans were pretty adamant that they got effed over by the refs. Did you feel that?
I do remember a period in that game where I was thinking, gee, they've gotten away with a few here, Melbourne.
Yeah, I agree.
But I honestly can't really remember that now. There was Bailey Fritsch definitely marked it over the line, but it's then also a stretch to say Fremantle would have kicked a goal out of that.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily think that was one of the more controversial ones as far as like who won the game. But there were some big moments. And I reckon if you look at Freo's season, Freo have played a lot of, we've talked about this, Freo have played a lot of the big contenders and had these like big games in Wharfie time back at Optus. I think they got the inverse of Wharfie time here in that they were playing Melbourne at the MCG. And the umpires do, for me, play a little bit in those big moments at the end of games when the crowd's going. They kind of go into the noise of affirmation.
Yeah,
I think that
maybe.
went against Freo in this game.
Possibly. I feel like the ones I'm thinking of might have been a bit earlier. But in any case, we've gotten on a negative
There's
track
a
here with
picket
Melbourne.
push in the back.
Yeah, can't even remember that. I've gotten into a negative trap here with Melbourne because you asked if can they win the flag, and no, and I'm not being able to praise them enough for actually winning an amazing game of footy.
I set traps occasionally.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I'm like,
You're like your legs caught and you're like trying to get out.
yeah, I should have opened with what do you think of Murphy Reid?
Oh well, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, kind of. Look, Harry Petty, I thought was the difference. I thought he was amazing. I mean, in a game that's so good with so many contributors, it's tricky to isolate one player as the difference. But I think in the moments he stood up and got them over the line. But then, as I said that, I just remembered Harry Sharp's amazing performance.
Well, I don't. See, it's interesting you said that. I know what you mean by saying Harry Petty was the difference because he was the only Melbourne key forward that really offered anything.
Yeah, but I think particularly as they started charging. He was big.
Important clunks.
Yeah. But I mean Harry Sharp was just as
Cosy
important.
Pickett was great too.
Yeah.
Overall in the game.
I loved Harry Sharp and
Laurie?
yeah, it was Bailey Laurie, wasn't it? I mix up him and Bowie. I don't know, just by name. But Bailey Laurie's goals.
What about Bowie's goal? Was it in the second quarter? That big snap dog from the Bowie. That was incredible.
My mind went to the Harry Sharp soccer. I thought that was my favourite.
Oh yeah, that was an incredible goal.
There were some great goals.
Bowie did kick an awesome goal.
Yeah.
Harvey Langford was insanely good,
amazing,
I thought.
Yeah. That kind of justified you picking you/Weave on that redraft. You went Harvey Langford.
Well, it was quite funny. So they're like in this game, if you were just looking at if you were saying like, if you got someone to watch this one game and said, who's better, Murphy Reid? I know that's not how you do it. So Murphy Reid's had a better year, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Langford was clearly the better player in this game.
Yeah, no question about that.
And Murphy Reid got some attention in this game.
Yeah, which is something that he probably hasn't dealt with a lot. That's absolutely. It was Stole Strip that went to him, wasn't it?
Yes.
So is that the first time a coach has sent someone to?
I think so. Like pretty much. I mean, I haven't watched every single Freo game with a microscope, so I don't know. But and I don't think the tag was an excruciatingly hard tag. I felt like he had time and space.
Yeah, I mean, he did get a bit of the footy. He just didn't have an impact.
Yeah, 18 touches, I think.
Yeah,
but he didn't have any scores.
Yeah, no, I mean, he would have had way better 18 possession games than that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just part of his development, I guess, dealing with the tag.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Is that the first place that you would go to tag? Because I thought Bolton was still really good and hurt them.
Yeah, that's the strength of Fremantle, right? Like, it's a two-headed dragon of those specific types of players he would tag. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I reckon they went to Reid because he's easier to stop.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because you get a Bolton, and he'll beat you for like he could beat Tholstrup for pace.
Yeah,
he can turn him inside out. Whereas Murphy Reid's not the most athletic.
That's true. Yeah, and hasn't dealt with it before.
Hasn't dealt with it
as
before.
well. So you sort of lean on that experience or lack of experience, right?
Sure.
I'm getting some hate for not giving Melbourne credit. I was asking them to win the flag. I was cornered.
Yeah, you did say that you don't like their players as well.
I did not say
I love just seeing your eyes and you're like, what?
I don't know if the audience will, or whether all of them will get the irony.
What are we saying, guys? Do we like Langford or Murphy Reid better? Who are you putting in there? Christ.
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
1989.
We got slaughtered either way, don't we?
We got slaughtered.
We got slaughtered for the Murphy Reid one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do we have Murphy Reid 5?
To be fair, I actually said because we did 5. I did say I would take Murphy at 3
ahead of Langford.
Yeah, and I would have Jagger.
Okay.
I think it's pretty tight, to be honest. Like, I don't know if you can find a definitive answer, but Harvey Langford showed Freo fans just how good he is.
Yeah, he did. Damn right he did. Thanks, Harvey. You did that for me. Prod by Siege says Langford or the Curtis mark.
I need to watch them again.
I loved the Curtis mark, but I got to say Langford in this one. Gee, that was nice. And a big, big game. New Heaven says, Reid, for me, his IQ is really hard to find. Fair enough. And New Heaven says, Bolton can butcher the ball sometimes. Sure.
Yeah.
But he can also kick awesome goals.
Yeah,
and
take hangs
and spin people inside out.
Yep.
Inferno Tree says Langford or Charlie West. Obviously West. Don't be silly.
Yeah.
Don't be silly.
A little more of a Tom Gross man.
I've got, yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, it was good actually.
Probably his best game was that his first game for the season?
In second, I reckon. Second or
season.
third, maybe. He came in and did nothing and got dropped a few times or once.
He's probably not getting dropped now.
Not this week, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does, in fairness to him, he doesn't get the opportunity. Like he plays in the midfield in the waffle when he comes in and he's playing like 15 metres off the stoppage. Totally different rule. So that role. So they don't give him a chance.
I feel like he had that role. There was a couple of times again I talked about when they were feeding the ball in through the corridor. And he's the guy that gets on the end of it and someone just smacks him from front on. You know what I mean? Like he gets the hospital ball.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Like, quite a lot. I've got a stank or bank.
Okay, cool.
Slightly. I don't know how this is going to read as a stank or bank. This is from Corey McKernan.
Okay.
North Melbourne player on Twitter.
Legend.
Yep. Should have been a Brownlow medalist or could have been a Brownlow medalist, theoretically. He says, you can play elsewhere, but playing at the big bad MCG is different. And today it wasn't even full. Freo are a good team, but we have no idea how they handle the G if they make grand final day.
I think they'll be fine.
So
it's a bit of a nothing burger of a conversation.
I thought that was going to be better. We sort of already discussed it.
Yeah. I don't know how many people were there at the MCG last year when they knocked off Collingwood by a point. And like they dug deep. They win games away from home. I know grand final day is different. I can't guarantee it, but I feel like they're a team that shows up.
I actually agree with you on this one. I don't think that's the issue. That won't be the issue for Freo. I reckon their issue is that the gap's not as big as we think.
I think that's probably true. The thing is, what's the gap? The gap between Fremantle and the best of Brisbane is not big, if at all. In fact, it's probably debatable. But the gap between Fremantle and average Fremantle and the average next best is enormous.
Yeah.
Right? In the week in, week out performance. Now, it actually doesn't matter. It only matters what happens on grand final.
Because it's a one-off game.
But you have to get there first too.
Yeah.
So that'll be fascinating to see who plays out. I think Fremantle will be playing someone. No, I think Fremantle will get there.
Yeah, I got you. It just sounded funny. Like, they'll be playing someone. There'll be a fucking opponent
It'll
there.
definitely be some prelims.
Alrighty, we move on to probably the most interesting game of the week, and Sydney defeating Port Adelaide by 97 points.
Did you say the most interesting? Was that?
But I was
okay.
Facetious.
It was so dry that I was like, what happened in this game that I missed?
I'll tell you what happened. The Prince of Preston arrived, Jesse Detoli.
Oh, Rising Star nomination.
Rising Star nomination. He kicked 2 goals. He had
23, I reckon.
Yeah, he had mid-20s at least.
I think it was 23.
He was doing what Jesse Detoli does. He was dictating. He was flicking balls on the left and the right foot, that ambidexterity that he has. What do you think I was going to say there?
I just heard flicking balls on the left and the right. And
That's what he brings,
I should have
Jesse.
waited for the rest of the sentence.
That's what he brings. I reckon he's at least 5 centimetres taller than he was in his draft year. He looked enormous running around out there. He had the pink sort of red boots on with the red Sydney socks, the same as Heaney. They're both blonde. There's a lot of blonde guys running around for Sydney.
Yep.
It was hard to kind of catch who was who.
It's a strategy.
It is a strategy, but he looked big. He looked strong. He looked like he moved really well.
What was he drafted at, do you reckon? Like 180?
He was drafted at 180 because that's on his profile right now.
Okay, yeah.
And they don't they do change at some point. But I was having a look at this. I'm like, do they actually have to update it? They don't. It's not mandated. The clubs update that.
No, I think they play funny buggers with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like McGovern was listed at 190 for like 7 years.
190.
Yeah, because he was drafted at 190 and he just stayed that height. I reckon they're doing that for competitive advantage, maybe.
They probably do.
Yeah.
I reckon.
So, like Jinby, I think, is taller. I'm going through Eagles players because I don't look at other players' heights. Sure. Oscar Allen was 191 for years. He's like 196.
He's bigger than that. Yeah, I was looking at him and he was standing next to Matt Roberts and he was at least as tall as Matt Roberts, who's listed at 185.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Wow.
Big Detoli.
Yeah. What's his overhead game like?
Great.
Yeah.
Yep. Great.
I do remember him as being a really exciting prospect. I just couldn't remember specifically.
He doesn't, I guess, like in a bit of a Murphy Reid-esque way, he's a bit of that IQ type player.
Okay.
Like ambidextrous, good on both feet, sort of reads the game really well, drifts into nice spaces and uses the ball. But when you actually break him down, you're like, okay, he's not quick. Doesn't have amazing agility or anything like that. Just a smart footballer.
You know, I'm just having a flashback to years ago. I did a Sydney analysis of their young talent. And I did a review and I said, well, I don't know if Jacob Constanti will make it. And the amount of backlash I got from Sydney fans, that has just popped into my head because I'm thinking, while you're talking, I'm like, the Tollies had to play his trade, in the, not the NEFL, but the VFL, I guess. But, and I'm glad to see that hasn't become like a Constanti, like a top 20 pick that ultimately didn't lead to anything.
Just doesn't sort of go anywhere.
Yeah, nor due respect to your current player at North, but it's good to see that he's come in and showcased his talent. I guess the successor to Tom Papley was the idea.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of. I think Totoli's got more midfield scope than a Papley because of that size as well. But he looked really, really good. What else? What are people saying about Totoli?
Horn Francis got injured in this game. That was an unfortunate one. Suspected hyperextension, and I think it's bone bruising. So probably rest him up for the year, I would have thought.
I would say so. I mean, this end of the season for Port Adelaide has been horrible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they bailed it out. Okay,
they've done well. Like, it is kind of like, it's crazy to think though that people have called for like Josh Carr to be coach of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
That's a bit hyperbolic.
I do think he's doing a pretty good job though.
He's done okay.
If you watch them play, the way he's able to sort of access or get the most out of some of the players that we didn't think were good.
Yeah,
like a
Mitch Zaddo.
Yeah. To be fair, some of that's talent too. Like Zaddo, like I've seen some amazing kicks.
Yeah.
Maybe it was one, but still. Like I reckon there's some.
This kid can ball.
Yeah, he can.
Their defense is good though. I think that is generally speaking, when you come in as a new coach, they don't have the players to match it with the top teams. But if you can match it with them defensively, that shows like a coach is able to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely.
They feel quite aligned, and even you've got to throw in the Zach Butter situation to that. So I do see why he's been rated well. But to say that he's been the best coach in the season,
you couldn't do it. No,
a bit mental. I think.
I think people in media are just trying to throw some credit his way.
Sure. I thought Logan McDonald was really good in this game. He kicked 3 goals. Mm-hmm. He took an enormous pack mark early in the game that was Nick Riewoldt-esque at the SCG. Charlie Curnow, 5 goals. Chad Warner is probably having a patch. I reckon the last 10 weeks of Chad Warner has been close to a top 5 player in the game. Wow. He's doing some great things. He kicked 3. And Jack Whitlock, just a shout out from a Port Adelaide perspective, he's having a season, the big giraffe.
Yeah, he's a great pickup. And sort of, we've said it before, but excuse me, begs the question of like why he slid so much on draft night.
Yeah.
It was a big logjam of evenly rated talls, so I do get logically how it happened, but his performance has been outstanding.
Just for a second, yeah, outstanding performance. And that draft in 2024, Fall didn't slide. Fall actually bolted.
Yep.
Shanahan slid.
Yep.
Armstrong slid.
A little bit. Yep.
Trainer slid.
A little bit. Yep.
Jack Whitlock slid. And Matt Whitlock slid. Slightly.
Did he go?
Slightly.
Yeah. Okay.
28.
Yeah. Who else went?
And then there was that next group. There was like Cale Girine, probably went in the 30s. I wouldn't say he slid.
No.
But a large number of, what I'm trying to get across here is a large number of keys in that draft slid. You'd probably have to put that down to the midfield and like outfield positions that were kind of available. So it was a strong draft.
Yeah.
So that someone had to slide.
Also, not every team is in the market for talls all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So it kind of so many clubs have a decision, do I need a tall? Yes. Then you have about 7 to decide from. So you can understand how that compounds, and Jack Whitlock is the one that slides, but on performance and what we're seeing, pick 53 is a steal or whatever it was. Was it about
that? Whitlock.
Yeah, Jack Whitlock.
Did you say 53?
Yeah, wasn't it quite late?
No,
Maybe I'm tripping about how late it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was 30s.
Okay, my mistake.
Yeah.
That still, it felt like a long time until we got to him.
I think it was 38.
Yeah.
But that was a decent slide. That was a decent slide.
That is a decent slide, yeah.
He would have been talked about at least a point in the year as being close to a top 10 prospect.
I might be mixing memories with Ludovic. He went 50 or something.
Yeah,
like
Ludovic
that.
went 50s. Yeah. And he was considered a top prospect as well. So it can happen with talls. Recruiters seem to get really turned on and turned off talls.
Yeah.
Periodically.
Relatable. I wrote down the stat. Sydney generated 21 shots from stoppage to kick 15 goals, 16. Sorry, 15 goals, 6.
Say that again. I didn't look at any of the stats.
21 shots from stoppage alone.
21 shots from stoppage.
Which gave them a return of 15 goals, 6, 96. Nearly 100 points from stoppage.
Fuck.
It's enormous. I mean, I know Port Adelaide, like Horn Francis got injured, Butters, Rosie.
Yeah.
I understand that, but still crazy stat.
Lachad massively cashed in.
They have 3 of the top 4 highest team scores this year. Sydney.
Yeah, well, they're clearly the number one offensive team in the comp.
So potent.
Yeah. If they, and it's personnel, right? Like it kind of all makes sense. Like Sydney are that team that have the top 5-6 players in that team are absolutely incredible. And then when you're looking at the bottom, probably 7 or 8 players in that team, you're going, not sure about this.
Yeah.
So they've basically created a game style around those top players.
Yeah. We're getting some corrections. Jack was 33. So nowhere near. I just felt like it took ages for him to get drafted.
It was still a slide.
Yeah. And Tom Sims was another one who bolted a little bit.
A bit, yeah. Yep. He would have been, I reckon, considered in the 30s.
Yeah.
And went 28. So it wasn't a huge bolt, but
yeah. Wilbur says, will Tom Sparrow end up leaving? I don't know. It'll be Port Adelaide if he goes, I reckon. But I don't know. But it does seem a little bit surprising he hasn't re-signed at Melbourne. I don't know what the reason for that would be.
Who's this, sorry?
Tom Sparrow. Just with respect to Port Adelaide here, I think.
Sure. What is interesting for me about that, and you brought it up in a video that we did earlier today, is the compensation factor, the potential compensation factor for Port Adelaide around losing Zach Butters and how Sparrow interferes with that.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So if Port Adelaide were to not match a bid on Zach Butters for a contract and net band 1 compensation, they couldn't then sign Tom Sparrow. They could. It would just mitigate that band 1 compensation, which means that if they are going to get Sparrow, they pretty much have their hands tied. They have to match a bid on Zach Butters.
Yep. So last year, West Coast had this same predicament with Starcevic, right? But you were kind of given a... Did you guys go around the back door with Starcevic? Don't eyeball me like that.
No. What do? We traded for him. You traded for him?
Yeah. You did, okay.
Yeah.
That was an issue last year though, wasn't it, with the Oscar Allen situation?
Yeah, Starcevic was a free agent. That's right. And we were given a priority pick anyway.
Yeah, it's like double jeopardy, essentially. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't lose a player to free agency and bring somebody in and still get your top end.
It's calculated as a net.
Yeah, So that means that if Sparrow does make his way to Alberton, it means that almost certainly Port will match the Zach Butters bid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Does have certain machinations or permutations that were machinations.
Machinations. Permutations.
I'm going to the bathroom.
I knew you would.
Now I've got the Macarena in my head.
Why? Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll get to these comments. Matt was picked 27, Jack at 33. I thought Matt was 28. Don't want to get too technical here. Get your point. I knew that Jack was in the 30s. I thought he was actually closer to, off the top of my head, I thought he was like 38 or something. But yeah, 33, fair play. Will with the pair says, will Tom Sparrow end up leaving? Yeah, we just discussed that. I think we already read that comment. Thoughts on the Butters offer from Collingwood? Certainly spices things up a little bit. I think like the more clubs in for Butters, the more interesting it's going to be. We spoke about this a little bit off the top and like how just I guess like the motivations are really interesting. Like we talked about how Zach Butters is apparently a Western Bulldogs supporter and he's probably going to want to go there, but then which club actually offers the best footballing project? Because that's the way that I would generally see these things going. Money will be a factor. But I don't know. I don't see Zach Butters coming over and taking an offer. I feel like I see him coming over and buying into a football project, whether that's Richmond for the young talent, whether it's Hawthorn because he thinks they're ready to go right now, or whether it's Collingwood and he thinks he can, Collingwood also have that extra sort of big club factor as well. And like maybe he thinks, gee, I'd love to play with Nick Dacos. So maybe that's a factor as well. It'll be interesting to see what comes out in the next few weeks though. What do we got? Any chance West Coast Eagles offer Butters a contract? I don't think that one. I think he wants to come back to Melbourne. I think it's going to be Melbourne. Footy Luck says, small thing, but I've noticed on the 2023 redraft that pick 3 is allocated to Gold Coast when that was actually a bid in real life. I could be completely wrong here, but it's just a thing I've noticed. That's interesting. That's on the website you're talking about, I think. Yeah, so that would have been 2023. Pick 3 would have actually been North Melbourne it would have been, and then North would have bidded on Jed Walter. So that's spot on. I'll ask Jesse about that because he puts that all together. LCMC says 900,000 a year for Neil, 1.8 million for Butters. Understand losing the Hill money. Yeah, so I guess they're just kind of pushing those funds around. I mean, if they were to get Neil and Butters, imagine Jesse and I were talking about that before. Imagine Zach Butters, Nick Dacos, and Lockie Neal, Collingwood's midfield next year. Christ. Sheed from the Boundary says, I wonder what word Jesse is going to look up in the bathroom. You don't want to know. You really don't want to know. Teresa Jade, salary cap increases make it far easier. Nick's payday will come. There's a lot of contracts up before his contract ends. Nick Dacos, salary cap increases. Nick's payday will come. Teresa's a Collingwood fan?
Yep. Wait. I think so. I need to see the profile picture. Yep. And quite a pernificous one at that. That's me looking up the dictionary.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I thought it was a bit that you didn't go for.
Somebody asked about that. Footy Luck said, small thing I've noticed on the 2023 redraft.
Oh, yeah, I heard that, actually. Okay. Sorry, yeah, to save you some breath. Yeah, that is an issue. Sorry about that. That's a mistake from me. I noticed it was weird when I put it in, but my brain was like, oh, that's weird, and didn't identify the problem. But because the bid match was there, it's or to put it as Gold Coast's actual pick. I will fix that as soon as I can tonight.
Connor says, Dill, thoughts on best subject for VCE?
Yeah, you've gotten that question multiple times, actually. I've seen that, but specifically you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
doesn't
interesting.
care about my...
I'm a bit of a philosophy guy.
I didn't actually go to school here, so...
Nor did I.
I mean, in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went to school in Australia.
Yeah. Nerd.
You think you're better? You think you're better than me, don't you?
I did A-levels.
You went to an international school?
Yeah, British school.
British school, yeah.
British
A-levels.
Yep.
What is it? SAT in the US? A-levels?
Yeah. Yeah. A-levels. Yeah. Year 13. So did...
VCE is year 11 and 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gee, I'd have to even...
Oh, you're actually giving it some thought. Yeah, true. It depends on your strengths and weaknesses, I would have thought. Like, if you're not a math kid, then don't do math.
No.
Is my advice.
Exactly.
Straight off the bat.
Highlight your strengths.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I reckon lean into those whilst keeping... If you're okay at math, I'd probably advise it.
I wouldn't.
Well, like, if you're okay at math and you want to do finance or something like that, I think it's healthier to stick with it. But if you're like, mate, I suck at math or I hate biology or physics, like, my personal opinion is lean into what you're good at.
If you don't like maths, don't do it, is what I would say. Because you'll as much as... Yeah, now we're having an argument. Yeah. Just do all the arts. Yeah. Do philosophy, history.
But does math have more upside?
Just do what you like.
Yeah.
Do what you like. Okay.
We've got a couple of super chats.
Yeah, back on track here. Shoe Snatch Willie with the super chat. Thank you very much. Freo versus Brisbane grand final feels inevitable at this point, Jesse, and I can't argue with that.
Yeah, that's been my feeling. Well, it was my preseason prediction, but it's been my feeling since Brisbane got within a sniff again of top four. Then I was like, that's probably how it's going to play out, isn't it? So,
why does Sydney feel like they have no chance anymore?
They have a chance of getting there because they'll get 2 home finals.
Yeah.
But I think Brisbane would play them in a prelim at the SCG if Sydney win their first final and Brisbane lose to Fremantle.
Good prelim.
It would be.
Do you give the Swans any chance against the Dockers?
Not on grand final day.
Nah.
No.
Doesn't feel good, does it?
No, I think they match up horribly.
Hawks? You like that better?
Factor. Yeah, I just think they played that ground pretty well, naturally.
I'm sort of at the point where I think it's Freo and Brisbane with an outside chance that it's Melbourne. Like Melbourne are almost like the next best for me.
Really?
Now. Yeah.
They're unlikely to even make the 4.
Yeah, I know. So
that's the cutoff for me. If Melbourne were entrenched in 4th right now, I would probably give it more thought. But at the moment, if they have to do it from 5th or 6th, I'm not sure. Like that's 3 away finals.
I just feel like they're playing with
2.
such belief, no baggage.
Of course, they're a good team. They're a good team, but can they? They'd have to go to the Adelaide Oval week 2, maybe not Adelaide. They go to Sydney or Perth or Queensland.
Why would they need to go to Adelaide?
No, I ruled out Adelaide. I realised it was a mistake.
Oh, sorry.
They play like Fremantle, Brisbane or Sydney away in week 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
correct.
and those are big tests.
Yes. Teresa says, explain what the word means right now.
Oh, so I made it up. There was nothing on my screen. Pernificus. I actually think it could be a word. And I'm so sorry if it's not flattering because I made it I just randomly said it.
Okay, you look that up and I'll keep going here. So,
Pernicious is a word.
Joel Haber says, do Latin. I mean, that's fun.
No, pernicious is a word and it means very harmful, destructive. That is not what I meant. Pernificus is not a word. It sounds like a Harry Potter character.
Spaniard says, surprised Jesse went to school at all. So well done, Jesse.
Oh, thanks.
It's a nice compliment.
Thanks, man.
Connor says, planning on psych, French, English, math, business, I assume. Busman, business, and PE.
Business management, maybe.
Business management. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I like it. Bit of French.
Yep.
Do a little trip.
That explains all the wee.
Oui.
I thought that was funny.
Trip to Burgundy.
I'm going to take this little window to shout out. We had 4 new members on the YouTube channel this week.
Beautiful.
TL73. Lockman Gaming as well rejoined. Jordan Lee, Elio Ongarato, and Lockie became members on YouTube. So thank you so much. As for truefooty.com.au, we are closing in on 2,000 members, 2,000 users on the website. So thank you to everyone who's gotten around that. Adding heaps of features all the time, improving the trade and draft sims. There's a variety of free and paid features as well. And thank you all for jumping on board and hope you're enjoying it.
And we move on. We move forward through these games as we transcend this earth. Geelong defeated the Essendon Bombers 117 to 50, a 67-point win to the Cats. This was fairly ugly. We'd come off, Jesse, the highs of the Melbourne Freo game, and then we sort of had to sit through Port and Sydney, Essendon, Geelong, these types of fixtures. These ones just kind of sucked a bit.
I remember because when the Melbourne Freo game finished, I had to drive home and we put Geelong and Essendon on the start, and there was a passage of play early. I keep doing that. The passage of play early where Essendon got the ball in, and Geelong's defence looked all at sea. And I think I remarked to you, wow, Essendon's really slicing Geelong up here. Really? Then I went home, and then what did I do? I think I filmed a video or something, and I looked at my phone. It was 50-4.
God, this is back on the you text me after this because I made a comment. It was down, the score for the Sydney Port game was also in the bottom corner of that Geelong game. And I think Port at the time were up like 28-20.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And as you're leaving, I went, I can Port win this.
It's 100 points.
Yeah. It felt right, though. It felt right. Vigo Vicentini came in for the Bombers and did pretty well in this game. So that was a positive for the Bombers.
Yeah.
They are still getting, as much as I think like collectively as a team, there's not much to write home about. They are getting games into Dyson Sharp, to Sullivan Roby, Nate Caddy, still these types of players. And even guys like Max Kondagiannis, I think, continue to, at this point, just get games. Whether they're valuable games, I don't know at this point. But they do feel like, while all this stuff is going on around the club, they're lightly building. Underneath.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we got that from this game, but it's just another brick in the wall, to quote Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it is another brick in the wall.
But it's just another game to the kids. Other than that, I don't know how much we can
it's all about fabric.
Extract from this game. Even Geelong will be disappointed with the way the percentage didn't move in the right direction enough. Why did I say it like that? You know what I mean? There was an opportunity to really put some distance, and they're in a percentage battle. So they were flat, probably.
Yeah, 67 points.
I think that was even the phrasing of the question at the end of the game.
They've still got Richmond and North to go, don't they? Or West Coast and North.
Who's this? Geelong? No, they don't have us.
Richmond and North then?
Yeah.
They've got really easy fixtures.
Yeah, so I suppose you're right. And Adelaide did them a favour in the other game, which we'll get to. But
yes. Cats.
See, Geelong, in my opinion...
North and Richmond, they have.
There you go. Geelong, in my opinion, are more likely to win the flag from 5th than Melbourne.
Disagree, respectfully.
Okay.
But I know where you're going from.
What about when Geelong just beat them?
The Dees? Yeah, but that's not the premiership, is it?
Well, yeah, I can say the same thing about us.
Was that at the G?
So, yes.
Damn. Yeah. That doesn't support my argument.
I can say the same thing about West Coast and Collingwood.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that wasn't the grand final. So.
No, I mean, fair enough. Like, would Geelong have the history?
Geelong could win in Perth.
Yeah, I wouldn't
tip it, but I think they could.
Don't really trust them at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, Melbourne's record away from the MCG is pretty average.
Yeah.
That's the main question mark for me. If they were going over and playing the same at Optus Stadium against Freo, then that's a totally different
They did have a
conversation.
big win in recent weeks away from home.
They beat Hawthorn in Tassie.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. But it's still like, that's the outlier amongst, like, even at Marvel, they're poor. I suppose they won't play finals at Marvel. But,
Yeah.
not to take this all but way back to Melbourne, but Brisbane Lions at the Gabba.
There's not a lot to talk about in this game, to be fair, so you may as well take it to Melbourne.
But I still think Geelong I think they're still a sleeper.
Maybe. I mean, you would never write them off, as they say about the Cats. What do you think about the Chris Scott? I don't know if you saw this interaction where he was asked about, obviously, the stuff with the concussion, the College Asney concussion stuff and the waiver, and he was like, I've got no idea. Like, he basically said, I think he even said, I've got less idea than anyone.
It's probably true.
Oh, come on.
Why is the coach getting involved in contracts?
Well, no, but like, why would he have less? How would he have less? Like, know less about it than the average person? He's not going to know less, is he?
It depends what the phrasing of the question was. Do you remember?
Well,
Like
I think they were. I'll just speculate. I'm paraphrasing massively, but it was something like, "Do you have anything to add on that? Like, what have you been told from the club?" And he basically said, just to completely shut it down. Obviously, he was like, "I'm like the last person you'd ask."
Yeah. I think that's fair enough, I reckon.
Maybe it's fair enough.
Yeah.
But it's not true.
Yeah, you're right. He's probably been briefed on it, but I don't think he was involved in it.
No, I don't think anybody's suggesting that he was.
Right. Yeah. Just the fact that
it's just an interesting, like,
yeah.
He was just so categorically denying. I mean, like, he was like, I'm the last person on earth you'd ask, basically. Like, I'm the furthest away from this possible. Was sort of what he insinuated with his answer. And it's kind of like, well, you're still the coach of the club. No one's accusing you of doing it. But
yeah, I'm sure he was briefed not to say anything. So
yes.
Yeah,
I'm interested to know what people think about that. Spaniard says, give Chris Scott a break. He's running 10 companies while being a full-time head coach. He's a busy man. Fair play. What do we got? Connor says, back to the Melbourne situation. If the Melbourne Freo game was this week in Perth, what do you think the outcome would be in comparison to the round 2 clash where Freo won by 48?
It'll be closer.
It'd be closer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd tip Freo though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big ask.
Yeah.
To go over there and knock them off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next game, we have Adelaide defeating Richmond by 9 points. This was so I don't want to take too much into this game from an Adelaide perspective. Obviously, they would have been hoping for a better performance, and there was real opportunity that Richmond could have won this game. I thought Richmond did a good job. The reason I'm not taking too much into it from an Adelaide perspective negatively, it was the conditions were atrocious.
They were.
It really brought it back into a potential Richmond game. It favoured those guys like Taranto, who just like to get their hands dirty and surge the ball forward. And Richmond did a really, really good job. I think it was one of their better performances from the season, but they kind of just ran out of class and quality. And the biggest difference maker in this game was Isaac Rankin.
Yeah.
He just caught fire at the end of the game. He was absolutely unstoppable.
There were some bad moments from senior players from Richmond as well.
Yeah.
I think there was a 50.
Undisciplined stuff. Yeah.
And the winning goal was a turnover from Vlosten.
I get
I'm always struck with that name.
Vlosten?
I think it's Flostone.
Oh, that's right. He took the.
I think it's how you actually say it, but I just say it different every time.
Yeah.
He kicked it out and turned it over, and I think it was Zach Taylor kicked the winning goal.
He's had one of the more profound drop-offs, I feel, from last year where he was playing incredible football.
Yeah.
And this year just doesn't really look up to it.
No.
Not saying it's all over, but it feels like it.
He's my age or even a year younger, so a spring chicken. Around the 30 mark.
32, I think.
I don't know. Do you get rid of Broad and Vostron?
Probably
at the
not.
same time?
No, I think
it'll be
you
okay.
go one more.
Yeah.
Maybe try and sell him off to Tasmania for a
Yeah.
for a pick purchasing.
That's true. I think we can be a little critical of Adelaide here. There were stakes to this game.
Yeah, there were.
And I know that, sure, they didn't need to have a polished performance, but like both teams are playing the same conditions and you can't really separate yourself from Richmond.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to criticise that, albeit I do accept the weather is a big leveler generally. But this was like genuinely, they nearly lost.
Yeah,
So-
you could if you took Isaac Rankin from that game, they 100% lose this game.
Yeah.
I mean, then it would also be 17 v 18.
Yeah.
It would completely ruin the game. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. I did see, I think 7 AFL, someone posted, or maybe it was someone in SA, some media outlet, posted the caption like, was this the worst Adelaide win of all time?
Yeah.
It was a bit of a stinker to watch.
It was an absolute stinker.
Yeah.
And you were texting me during this game saying...
I don't already feel like this is a lie.
No, you said... What did you say? Pick 2 is back on, baby.
Yeah. I was being facetious because I think even if Richmond had won, we'd still be higher than them.
Yeah, you would. They would have to win again.
Yeah, so I was being a bit facetious. It was a bit more like my way of saying, are you watching the fact that Richmond might actually win here?
They could actually win this game.
Yeah.
This game felt, I think, from an Adelaide perspective, like, I suppose why I say I give them a bit of an out is because I think about the Crows and I think, yes, they are a contest team, so the conditions kind of suit them when they get their hands dirty, but they're also a team that relies heavily on tools. So when you're kicking to the Thilthorpes and the Fogartys and these types of players, it makes it kind of difficult. And they had a Ludovic in there. So who they had? They had Walker. Fogarty's out, isn't he, in this game?
Yeah.
Fogarty didn't play.
So, yeah.
I think they ran Walker, Thilthorpe, and Ludovic in this game. So like those guys didn't really have much of an impact at all. It makes it a little bit more difficult. I expected their ground level players to be more involved though.
Yeah. I would say that like separating criticising their performance and like changing my evaluation of Adelaide, no. I wouldn't change my evaluation. It was an average night. Other teams' average nights, they lose heavily.
Yeah.
They still won.
So
it's fine. But I think if I'm an Adelaide fan or even if I'm Matthew Nix and the way I review that, it's like, be better.
Be better.
You had the opportunity to put some distance. You limped over the line. This was a bad night.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
I think I agree. But
with the stakes around the top 4 percentage, like this was an opportunity. And I get maybe 10 goals was never realistic, but 9 points and a last gasp win through Zach Taylor's goal. Like,
no,
you'd be salty if you're a Crows fan, I reckon.
Yeah. I'm going to spin it from my perspective. I'm going to spin this slightly the other way though. And I still don't think Adelaide are going to be good enough in the finals. But I did see, and I thought back to last year in the finals, and I felt like they had a distinct lack of composure when the finals came around and a lack of quality. And I'm watching Isaac Rankin run around. And what's the one thing that Adelaide didn't have in the finals last year?
Pizzazz. Isaac Rankin.
Specifically Isaac Rankin.
Yeah,
because he was out for the
the
slur, as it were.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think there's maybe a bit of a silver lining for them, and this could be a bit of a wake-up call. It's a poor performance. I'm not doubting that. But I think when you combine Isaac Rankin coming back into the team, and there's a few little emergences there for the Crows, I think Cook is good.
Yep.
Cook is becoming a really, really important player. Taylor has that finish at the end of the game. Yes, it's against Richmond, and they should be further up. But it wasn't Taylor Walker. It was Zach Taylor. You know what I mean? So
they would love to hire you as the head of their media, Adelaide.
Why?
Like a professional spin doctor.
Spin doctor. You reckon I'm just
Zach Taylor? I know it was Richmond, but he kicked it.
I am getting the turd out and just.
God, it's shiny.
Looks good from here.
Look, I just think you'd be flat, and let us know in the chat, Adelaide fans. Like, this game after last week where they win by 72, Brisbane lose by 78, 150 points. They get up there. They're sitting pretty in fourth. They've got Richmond this weekend. Brisbane's playing Hawthorn. And like the percentages have evaporated.
Oh, there's no denying that is, from that perspective, that's a disaster.
Yeah. That really matters.
It does.
But
can't argue.
Yeah.
Cannot argue. They actually played Riley O'Brien in this game too, Jesse.
Oh, they did too.
Came back in for McAndrew. He had 35 hitouts and 5 marks, but you do feel they actually asked the commentary team at the end of the game. They were interviewing Taylor Walker, and they said Riley O'Brien did well. He came back in tonight. And Taylor Walker's like, yeah, and he said, "Is there any chance you'll play 2?" And Taylor Walker goes, "Yeah, I mean that's something we could look at." It's like, no.
No.
You're not playing McAndrew and Riley O'Brien in the same team.
No, that's
absolutely
crazy.
no way.
Yeah. Taj Houghton did some nice things.
Oh, Taj.
Yeah.
Taj. I actually gave a little post after this game.
Did you?
He
I
was
didn't even see that.
on Twitter. You're not a Twitter guy.
No.
Yeah. No, he was very, very clean. I thought
Yeah.
his electric eel-like movement was tasty.
Very panificus.
Very panificus. He's a nice mover.
Yeah. Slippery. No, he's a good player.
He is. So shout out to him as well. And we keep going. I enjoyed this one. This was the Gold Coast versus GWS game.
Sunday morning.
And for whatever reason, I don't have the score in front of me, so I'm going to wait till it comes up on my feed coming through here. I'm just going to kill a little bit of time until it comes up on the screen in front of me, Jesse.
We're getting a bit of chat about talking about Seth Campbell.
Seth Campbell, he was good in this game. Yeah, he was actually.
Yeah. You're a bit of a Seth Campbell hater.
You're such a
We've started doing that to each other.
You're such a bastard. It's because of that under-22 team that we did at the weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's had a great year. I reckon he's an incredible player.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my favourites at Richmond. I know people wanted us to talk about Sam Lawler there. He had a quiet game. He's the king. You can't say a bad word about Lawler.
Yeah, clearly.
Anyway, Giants and the Gold Coast Suns. Speaking of you talked about for Adelaide, the Adelaide Crows, this being a disaster. How bad is it when you're playing for a wildcard position? You're kind of going head to head with Carlton. Given the fixture, you're in the box seat because you've got the easier games.
Yeah.
And then you just drop this one by 2 points to the Suns, who are in a world of pain.
Fair comparison to make. I would say this one's less disappointing because it's still a nothing burger to finish 10th with the year GWS have had.
Okay.
I think Adelaide are more in that window, and there was, finishing fourth means a lot more. GWS, I think they're going to reflect on this season, I think, with a mixed view. There's some good opportunities to transition the list and get more exposure into some guys that I think are really talented. And we're going to see a movement away from some of the guys that have maybe made them so good for a period of time. Toby Green, etc.
Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly. Well, he hasn't been in the team this year, of
Cornelia.
course. Cornelia's playing all right at the moment. There's two more obvious ones. Hogan and Stringer have also been important lately. So this whole year, I think, is more about that. And I think there were a mathematical chance of playing in the 10. Maybe it's also tinged with the fact that I tipped them to lose this game, and I didn't have any faith that there would actually be a wildcard chance. I think it's pretty distinctly different to Adelaide here.
Very selfish, aren't you?
Yeah. I tipped the Suns before I even knew the weather was a factor, and I think the weather did play into the Suns' hands too. Yeah. The Giants are very transition, rebound, and maybe lose the contest but get you on the other way. And you couldn't set that up in this type of game. Matt Rowell, I think partly helped by the conditions, had his best game.
So it's like 40 touches and a goal or
10
something.
inside 50s, yeah.
Yeah, he just went down with his shoes off at the start of the game and
that's right.
enjoying that.
Popped a little squat
as he does, and he's like, I'm in heaven here in Canberra. I love the Canberra conditions.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was quite funny. I made a note of this while the game was on. Like GWS at the end of the game, I can't even remember who it was now, but they actually kicked a goal. Like they were still trying to save the game right at the end, and they were pushing, and they kicked a goal on the siren.
Delana.
So it was Delana, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's celebrating a goal on the siren, and they've just been knocked out of the finals.
Yeah,
and all the GWS players are like, yes, and then they're like, no. It was like their season in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a great call, actually. That's a great call. Yeah. Unfortunately, just couldn't get over the line. But very important win for the Suns from a morale point of view. We've been talking today about the Suns and their position, and Rowell and Anderson out of contract next year. They needed a win.
You got to stop the rot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could tell it meant so much to them. I'd almost forgotten about the lose streak at the siren, and I saw Rowell really celebrate. And I was like, oh, yeah, this win would mean so much. Yeah. That losing streak would be up there with anyone in the AFL. Except for maybe Essendon.
I reckon
not even Essendon. They'd have the longest streak in the AFL.
The Suns.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, on the weekend.
Right now.
Yeah.
Not the longest ever, but...
No, God. No, it's probably us. I think it would be us, actually.
What do you think this season has done? Because the Gold Coast Suns, it was, as we were saying before, like I thought Ben King was going to stay because the project was so good. How much damage do you think this season has done for a potential exodus around Gold Coast players? and them almost undoing all of it. It just felt a given that they were just going to go on and compete and win premierships and do all of that. And it seems to have just unravelled frighteningly quickly.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, there's nothing they can do to stop Ben King leaving, and then maybe also trading Humphrey, I reckon, in my personal opinion.
I think if they keep their players, it'll turn.
Well, that's what I was about to say is next year they have an opportunity to win back Raylan. Not win back, but maintain.
Because they're not going to leave this year.
Yeah, they won't leave this year. They'll leave as free agents, if anything at all.
My problem is, though, if they lose King, they lose Humphrey, that'll cap what they can do next year. And then it might have a flow-on effect for those guys.
I'm not so sure that's true. I
So you
reckon they
reckon
can
they'll be
improve. I don't know.
Well, they'll improve.
Yeah, they'll improve. If they're in the wildcard next year, then that might be enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this year has maybe shown how fragile, not the club as in what they've built or anything, but maybe that is just the Gold Coast factor in this league, in this sporting league. You've got players want instant success, and if they can't deliver it quickly enough, then that's it.
Yeah. They probably need to make some moves for a forward, whether it be a tall or a small. With Humphrey and King leaving, you need to replace those goals.
Humphrey and King,
or at least that creativity.
So what, you've got Walter.
Yeah.
You assume that he's going to be the man.
Yeah, that's true.
Ethan Reed.
Yeah, from a tall point of view, that they should be fine with that.
They're just young.
Yeah. I think they do have some interest in Jesse Hogan too, now I think about it.
Yeah, okay. I could see that. What's going to happen with Jamara?
I have no idea. Yeah, doesn't look good for him. The fact that he hasn't re-signed or been re-signed, but I have no insight to that whatsoever. Haven't really even tracked it. But there's been no real rumour outside of the fact that he's out of contract. So it is a big year.
Rogie says Suns would be nuts to let Humphrey go.
I disagree, Rogie. I reckon they've faced... I mean, I could see a world where Hardwick's like, nah, stuff you. We'll keep you. I do see that, possibly. But I think it's smart also to trade a player when he's contracted. And Melbourne, the club he's going to, have pick 5. Presumably it's Melbourne. They're the favourite. That may not be the case next year. Melbourne will probably have pick 15 or worse in a Tasmania year. So if you played it smart from an asset point of view, it makes sense to trade him this year, especially if...
He's restricted, though.
He's not a free agent at all.
Yeah.
So he's under contract. So even next year, he wouldn't leave as a free agent.
No.
He would be traded. But you would get substantially less, in my opinion.
Just because of the situation that Melbourne are in.
Yeah, because they're not going to have pick 5 next year.
Yeah.
So from a attitude point of view as well as the influx of draft picks, do you keep a player that doesn't want to be there? Is that really what the presence they need right now? I'm just putting that out there because I don't really know.
No, I sort of agree with you, but at the same time, I'm sort of do they make a stand on the fact that I still feel like the draft pick situation for the Gold Coast Suns, it's not what it is to other teams. How much more talent do you want to get into that team?
Yeah. What do they do with pick 5 anyway?
What do they do with it? I mean, I know they'll take a talented player and he might help. On some level down the track, he might help, but I don't know.
Bailey Humphrey himself was pick 6. You could get the next Bailey Humphrey.
You could get the next Bailey Humphrey who's 4 years less developed.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally think that's a valid point to say that Hardwick could say, nah, stuff you. Ben King's leaving. We're not going to give up Bailey Humphrey. That could happen.
So who's pick 6 at the moment? Ethan Drever, probably.
Yeah. You're looking at maybe if you want to look at a tall, it would be Mitch Harris again a little bit early, but I think Gold Coast would reach.
They could reach.
They would reach. Coda Edwards.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at that range. Heath Melody.
Another out of state kid that they've got to convince to stay.
Well, they're all going to be out of state. They could bid early on Caelan Murray.
They could.
I could see that being valid.
Yeah, take the crosstown rivals.
Yeah.
Star. I like that actually.
Yeah.
That'd have a little bit.
That actually happened in an off-season sim I did either yesterday or the day before. Or today. Yeah, in the off-season sim I was playing, Gold Coast bid on Caelan Murray, and I think Brisbane didn't match, and they got Caelan Murray. And I was like, that's actually sick.
That's hot.
I like that.
I like that too.
I am going to go to the bathroom again.
He's going to the bathroom?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had so much water. That's what people don't realise.
Yeah, I know. You're a fountain because they drink lots of water. You're a fish. What do we have here? We have Sneds says, do you think if Hardwick fails at Gold Coast, then his work at Richmond becomes less impressive? This is a great question. What do I think about this? Does it become less impressive? His work at Richmond doesn't objectively become less impressive. But it definitely, I think a coach, when they go to another club after they've been so successful like that, they always do run a bit of a risk, because if they aren't successful again, that we'll remember that in the greater, wider conversation around their legacy. So I suppose what I'm trying to say there is, I agree. Yes, he will be. His work will seem less impressive for him as a coach. It won't take away from the Richmond side of things. Like, Richmond won't care, obviously. But failing as a coach has to have some sort of negative impact on their legacy, even after they've been so successful with another club. So if you're going to be this successful coach at one club and then go to another club, you've kind of got to do it to some degree again, I feel. Otherwise, it's going to tarnish. Hope I explained that okay. Matthew Decker says pick 5 would have been their original pick. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But obviously, to get players like for the Gold Coast Suns to get a player like Petrarca was worth giving up their first rounder. Again, given we're talking about a club here that's had, just concession after concession for the last few years as they've been rebuilding. Like, they've just been able to get free hits at players. If the same draft rules that are in play this year were the same for the Gold Coast Suns in past years, they wouldn't be in such a luxurious position. But to get Jed Walter, Ethan Reid.
They got 4 first rounders in 23 and 25.
Yeah, Rogers and
Graham.
And then
Adensall, Ewland, Adensall and Murray.
Patterson, did we say?
I think so. I meant to.
Yeah, I think you said Adensall twice.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah. Okay, Patterson and Ewland, sorry.
Yeah.
And then next year, Taj Murray potentially. I don't know how good he is yet, but that's next year. It's just this year.
The thing next year, the academy players next year, you're not getting them as cheap anymore. You're not getting them as such a free hit.
No.
Whereas in the years like the 2023 draft and the 2024 draft, which was Lombard, of course, 24-25 was the Patterson Ewland, they were really, really cheap.
Yeah.
Like the way that they were able to manipulate, double up on picks, get multiple picks in the back end, made it like an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah. It's funny how we all complained about them profiting and it might end up a nothing burger. I'm really loving that phrase.
Yeah, it's a good phrase.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I have heard some recruiters say about the situation that the Suns have been in, like, as much as it's great, you're getting value by bringing those players through. But I have heard some say it kind of, the thing that sucks about it from a recruiter's perspective, you're forced into those players. So you don't get any choice to make a list how you want it to be.
Yeah, that's an illusion though, because they're not actually forced.
Well, they're not. No,
they have the ability.
Of course. I suppose what they mean, because of the value, they do sort of have to say yes.
Yeah,
and it takes away their. You could make an argument that, like, if I just didn't have that burden, even though it's not a burden, like
eventually, like if it kept continuing like that in perpetuity and they were getting 4 top 30 picks every year, eventually they'd have to start making tough decisions.
They would, yeah.
Absolutely, and now they would definitely.
I was surprised in 2025 that they didn't let more of those guys go.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, maybe to tie off that point before we move on, but like, at least moving forward, like, let's say things don't improve at the Suns and they lose players, and at least now they've got a really strong foundation of local talent. That was never a thing before.
Yeah.
They paid pick 2 just to get Lockie Weller on their list.
That is super, super true. And that's, like, I'm talking about, they go back to the draft and they got to pick a guy that's coming from interstate. At least they have a big block of players now that are probably going to want to stay because they're from there at least.
Case in point, Jake Rogers staying local.
Yeah.
Like, he could have left this year and he's likely to stay now. So.
Yep. Walter, probably in the same boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lose King, but they keep Walter.
They
I think
keep the
that's
local boy.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better way to go for them. Sneds has asked another really interesting question. I can't remember what the previous one was, but I remember it being interesting. Is there a biggest club in the AFL? I think there is.
What are the metrics?
He hasn't said, but
no, I'm asking you if you've got a clear answer.
Well, it's Collingwood.
Yeah,
they're the biggest club in the AFL.
But on what basis?
Just a feel
vibe.
It's just like, I mean, I reckon there probably is metrics that back it up. I think they are the biggest membership. club.
I don't know what it is right now, but West Coast has been up there as well.
Yeah, West Coast right up
probably
there.
the two. If you're going literal.
I think just
in terms of how much they get talked about, Collingwood clearly more than West Coast.
Collingwood, and it's at the end of the day, it's a Victorian league.
Yeah.
Like it was the VFL. They have the history in that part of the world. Equal most premierships, the membership part of it. And I just feel they've probably built a brand over a long period of time that has established themselves at the top of the list.
Fair enough.
Fair?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah.
Could you make an argument for anyone else? Could somebody say, like, it's not fucking Collingwood?
It's not something I really track or think about, but I mean, in terms of memberships, you do see clubs like Richmond and Carlton explode and then hit those like six figures. But I think it's pretty telling that even the West Coast is pulling six figures every year and they're as bad as they are.
Yeah, for sure.
So that probably makes them pretty close. I think West Coast is the richest financially.
Yep.
But I agree with the brand perception thing. It's probably Collingwood.
Yeah. I don't think there's any debating that. But if you brought in, like, you could bring in some other metrics and maybe prove me wrong. But
if you include PEP memberships, then I think Richmond go to the top.
Really?
Yeah, some clubs like report those. And I remember Richmond being one of them.
Yeah.
But they are a big club, undoubtedly.
So give me a top four. West Coast. I would put West Coast.
I'd say Collingwood and West Coast are the top two.
I think Carlton are next.
Yeah, you might be right on that. Essendon's a sleeping giant, but Adelaide are pretty big too. I don't know if they're next, but they're pretty big.
They're big. Crom is big. How big are they though?
They're pretty big. I reckon they hit six figures too.
Yeah. Tigers are big. I feel like the Essendon's hard because they are a massive club, but they've kind of just been bad for so long that it's hard to put them up.
Yeah.
They're a Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
They're a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
Michael Spickia says Richmond have horrible attendance when they suck. It's an interesting part to this. Like when they're bad, they have terrible attendance.
Right, yeah.
That is talked about a bit with Richmond.
Yeah.
Collingwood seem to have that real, and like you said with West Coast, like Collingwood have that like boots on the ground.
Yeah, they're never bad too, Collingwood, which is a factor.
Yeah, I mean they were when I was a kid.
Yeah, right, like 99.
Yeah.
No, did they win the spoon like Josh Fraser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Late 90s.
Okay.
When North were good.
We're going 27
I know
years ago now.
we are going a long way back there, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it was my first. It's funny with that. Like I've got like first memories of clubs. Like I still have this thing that Carlton are quite a powerful club because when I was a little kid, first getting into the game, they were strong.
Culturally, they're huge.
Yeah.
They're an entire subculture, Carlton.
I almost think like just being on the ground in Melbourne, like Carlton are almost the biggest.
Right.
But then I feel like Collingwood have a bigger impact on a wider scale, almost like on the internet. Carlton are huge on the internet too.
Yeah.
For that matter. It's hard to go past Carlton and Collingwood.
Yeah. It's also just so arbitrary. What the things we're talking about. It's all vibe.
It's great chat, Jesse.
Teresa says you went to the game, Eagles game on Sunday. Was not seeing that many Eagles fans out. Never saw those numbers at Freo games when they were bad. That is something we can hang our hats on as Eagles fans. We show up.
What about me? Okay, Mr. Harrison
Not
Carnaby.
me, obviously. But
yeah, I think it's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want everyone to disappear.
Yeah.
Like Melbourne fans, for example.
Yeah, that is a thing. Port Adelaide are pretty bad too.
Are they?
Well, yeah, they got the TARP era when they were really bad around that 14, right before Hinkley.
Yeah, right.
Like 2011, I can't remember what the meme was. They had tarps all over the seats. Hardly anyone was going. They nearly folded.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I sort of remember chatter around that. What about Hawks?
They're a massive club.
They don't come up in these conversations as much.
I know so many Hawthorn fans too.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I
and
omitted
successful.
Them. Yeah, I slept on them there. They're up there with the others. I just think Collingwood and West Coast probably, in a lot of the metrics, are probably there, as in 1 and 2. But after that, Carlton and Essendon and Hawthorn a little bit.
I think Collingwood are the most, they're the biggest sporting team in Australia.
Yeah, fair.
That's my perception.
Right, that's your perception, yeah.
Yep. And Kane Burgess says rightly North are the third biggest after that. Fair. Carlton and Arsenal. There are parallels between those two teams. Shall we move on, Jesse? We have to talk about West Coast.
And Collingwood. That was a seamless segue. Unintentional.
You know how I sometimes do this? Like we laugh about it. Like we share a document and I'll put like I'll start to do like the scores and stuff in the document, and you can see it. I've actually got in this West Coast defeated Collingwood.
Wow.
Because
Why?
they were winning at the time that I started to make the document.
Why?
Probably,
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
They hit the front briefly in the second term.
I didn't want to jinx them.
Yeah, okay. Well, you did.
Maybe I did. Yeah. I didn't want to reverse jinx them.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Thoughts on the game? Talk to me about it from a West Coast perspective.
Surprisingly good game. I think the Eagles match up well against Collingwood.
They do.
Their performances over a period of time against Collingwood are more often pleasantly, surprisingly good than bad, whilst not having beaten them since 2022. But it was a good game. You could tell the Eagles came out with a fierce intensity to sort of right the wrongs of the last week. And I remarked during my review, it's amazing how sometimes when a team needs to make a statement, they don't just play harder, their skills get better. It's fascinating. Yeah. It shows how much mentality is
like
part
they must
of it.
lock in.
Yeah. And for the first half, the Eagles were actually hitting targets up inside 50. I think the biggest takeaway from this game, which may be a stretch, but I think once again we saw a demonstration that Craig McRae is such a good coach. Like you can take out, I don't know how many outs they had. They're probably missing 8 of their best 22. And I know all clubs have injuries, but to lose them all at the same time and replace them with very unproven players was going to be a challenge when they're a very system team. And while they got picked apart a little defensively, offensively, like the amount of times they would, and some of this is West Coast obviously, but just the way they would isolate, like Harvey Harrison would just take an uncontested mark.
Yeah.
And Lockie Schultz, who's an okay player, a decent player, but he's not Nick Watson, is he?
He had like a Sam Lawler moment.
Yeah.
At the top of the goal square from the West Coast game.
What was that again?
Oh, when he sort of broke through a tackle and like sidestepped.
Oh,
and then kicked a goal.
Around McCarthy, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just such a well-oiled team and too difficult to beat for a struggling West Coast.
Yeah. There was I noticed there were a few times though where West Coast were able to cut through Collingwood. Like there were nicer ball movement plays, like chains from you guys that you don't normally see.
Yeah.
It's more a little like, it's messy with you guys normally. And you actually had some clean plays and you're like, okay, shit.
Yeah, I know. I even wrote down in my notes, we never play like this. Just for periods of the game, we would have like uninterrupted chains and moving the ball by hand that actually briefly reminded me of what it was like to be at Optus when we were good. I remember particularly, like, obviously it's a stretch to compare it to 18, but I remember 18 just noticing how good we were at never getting in trouble, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there were just moments in this game that were not like 18, but they were like, we never see this. This is very foreign.
Yeah, you get that. Like you get those guys that they're getting pressed upon, and they're able to just like make that little shimmy, find a kick,
or
step
even
out
just
of
a
traffic.
handball that's actually really well weighted, and the player doesn't need to slow down to grab it.
Yeah.
I'd say we sustained that for large periods of this game, but not the whole game. I think where we got beaten was Collingwood's pressure is so good, and they really punish us on turnover. They're a strong turnover team. We are a poor side at defending on turnover, so. Like most teams, they punished us really badly when we did make mistakes.
Yeah, I do think coming in, like I felt from Collingwood like there was like an atmosphere to this game where you could kind of went, Collingwood feel like they need to come over here and beat you. Like it felt like it wasn't just going to be a walk in the park.
I think their fans, from what I could gather, were more nervous than they should have been.
Yeah, they were nervous
because of their injuries.
There was there was almost a nervous energy.
Yeah, okay. I do think it's always worth noting, like when a team is coming off a horrible performance like we are, the next week playing against a team like that is always a bit iffy. And that suspicion was proven right with West Coast intensity being really good early.
Does it annoy you that you have a fixture like Richmond and you don't bring the intensity for that game and then you bring it a week later?
I'm too dead inside to really care anymore.
Okay.
You make a valid point.
You know what I mean?
It just happens so often that I'm like...
we step up for this game against Collingwood, who are relatively good, and when we play the shit team, we don't.
Yeah, I mean our intensity was okay against Richmond, though.
Yeah,
I don't think it wasn't like we were flat. We were just awful, and that unfortunately is closer to our average performance than the Collingwood one.
Yes. Okay. Harley Reid looked like he wasn't moving particularly well, but he still had a pretty solid game.
Yeah, he still had 30.
Yeah, contributed
30 in a goal.
really well, I thought.
Yeah, he was very injured. He got 3 different injuries. He got a quad. I think his ankle also was a problem again, and his shoulder. And he kept playing through it. He was unbelievable.
Tom Gross like I said before, he had a good game, but he also he always flirts between looking really good and having these really nice moments and almost like having a disaster type moment. Do you feel?
A little bit, but he's played like 8 games.
Yeah.
So like you'd take that. That was probably his best game at AFL level, I'd say. Kicked a nice couple of goals, I reckon. And yeah, a few moments that you're like, oh, that's a waffle act. For instance, like a really dinky kick inside 50 that's just going to get swallowed up. But yeah, good performance from him.
Yep. Willem?
Pretty average, I
He's
thought.
quiet, I thought.
Yeah, didn't have a good day. He's out of form.
Didn't want to set you up for that. And I thought Tyler Young was good too. Last one on the West Coast Eagles, losing Herbert.
I think unlikely, but there is a suggestion that the Eagles are offering one and other clubs are offering two, namely Carlton. Collingwood is one of them. In my opinion, the most like he wants to stay is the report.
Yep.
And my opinion, the most likely scenario is West Coast offer a second year and keep him. It'd be strange to draw a hard line against the second year for Herbert and lose him.
Yes.
Unless they're really sure he's not going to make it.
Do you think he's good enough?
I think he's good enough. I don't
It'd
know
be
if
strange if you guys didn't think he was good enough, but a bunch of other clubs did after you were the one that took a risk on drafting him.
Yeah. And I think he's an established 23 player now.
Yeah.
So you don't mess around with that too much.
Yes.
There's other things we can do to improve our list that doesn't mean freeing up pick 60 to get her.
Glad we got that off the cap space.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense. It would be silly. Whether he's around when we're really good, I'm not sure.
That's another
But he's certainly
conversation.
around for the next little bit.
He's a handy little player.
We have some super chats.
Oh, do we?
Yep. We have Teresa. Remember when you guys said Harvey was an unknown player because you hadn't seen him forgetting he had done his ACL?
Harvey
Harrison.
That
was one of the responses to the Collingwood one was that I think we suggested Harvey Harrison couldn't get in the team, but he'd actually done an ACL.
Oh, okay. Was that in our youth points?
Youth points.
Youth points. Okay. Apologies.
Yes.
Yeah.
More sincere, please.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, marginally.
Okay. We go to the
Teresa.
We've got to go to the last game.
Rogie has another super chat.
We've got another super chat. Sorry.
Thank you, Rogie. Nick's run in the AFL's Brownlow predictor is absurd. Pulled in every game but 2. He's played every game since round 10. Is absurd. Pulled in every game but 2 he's played, and every game since round 10. Oh, it's absurd.
Yeah,
he'll get 3 votes again.
There is I reckon this is probably, it kind of sucks. Not maybe for Collingwood fans or for Nick Dacos, but I reckon this will be the most boring Brownlow medal
it would be.
of all time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to Nick Dacos.
You mean in terms of how close it will be?
Yeah, I just don't think anyone's going to get anywhere near it.
Nah. It'll be the biggest win ever.
Yeah.
It'll be a record-breaking... it's projected to be a record-breaking vote count, but also the biggest gap to second I reckon the game's ever seen. You could almost fit a whole Brownlow medalist in between the gap.
I reckon.
The gap's probably like 16.
Could we hand that out to someone?
Yes.
I don't know who.
Harvey Johnston.
Just to join those, to put a nice loop on those super chats, let's give it to Harvey Harrison.
Teresa says more grovelling.
I'm so sorry. I really am. We've got to get to the last game though, guys. We've got to. Carlton defeated the Saints. Now this was, if you want a game with Jeopardy on it, this was the game.
Or you just buy Jeopardy.
Or you just buy it. Isn't there a game called Jeopardy? Yeah. 44 points. The Blues won by 106 to 62. They were just way too good for the Saints. I didn't really see this coming. I did tip Carlton to win, but I didn't think they were going to do it in such emphatic fashion. You've obviously got the extenuating circumstances of Nasiah Wangan and Miller doing a hamstring very early in the game. They lost Brad Hill for a brief moment with something going on with his knee, I think. And then they also lost Mason Wood.
Yeah. I think Liam Ryan, TDK were also injured at various points.
Liam Ryan has knocks and stuff in games and then just comes back on and looks ridiculously good.
Yeah.
He's an interesting player.
Yeah.
Max Hall, 30 disposals and 2 goals, 3. Brad Hill did have 31 disposals as well.
Played a bit of a lone hand, Max Hall, I thought.
He did play.
From what I saw. As I said, I didn't watch the entire game here.
I mean, 5 shots at goal, 5 scoring shots and 30 disposals.
Yeah.
He's having an incredible season.
Could have been a bag.
Frankie Evans, 22 disposals and a goal. Ollie Florent had 25 off half back. Pitnet was really good in the ruck. Absolutely. I think this was one of those big boy performances against TDK. Yeah. And I reckon there was an element where he's like, I want to fuck this guy. Because he
Sorry?
I want to fuck this guy up.
Okay, I didn't hear the up.
Phrasal verb. He yeah. I actually just realised what I did then. But he wanted to own him and dominate him.
Okay, you're making it worse.
Sorry. It gets later in these streams.
Yeah,
it just gets
we
really hard.
disintegrate.
We do. But they've just become such a good team, the Blues. It's incredible. Like, I don't think they're going to go on any like obscene run in the finals. They're not going to make a prelim. They're not going to make the grand final. But I reckon they can win a wild card.
Yeah. So who would they play? We talked about it off the top actually.
Yeah.
They would probably play the Cats. No, they'll finish high. They'll play Collingwood.
They'll play Collingwood.
Wow,
Yes.
that's almost locked in.
Yeah, they can
Suppose
win
anything
that.
could happen,
I know
but-
they lost to them, but they could win that.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, but they won't.
But they probably won't. I sort of do agree with you. But it's hard to what's happened with this team is I think we're underselling what's happened here.
Mm.
They come into the season.
Do you think we're underselling it? Do you think
We are underselling. This
Who's
is
we?
not being talked about enough.
Who's we? Us?
Yeah.
Or the media?
The media in general.
I think the media is non-stop Carlton.
But it's
The
such a
non-stop Josh Fraser.
It's a crazy story.
It is absurd.
So they go 2 and what were they?
They were
Finish
1-8,
my
I
sentence.
think.
1-8.
And then when they won their first game, they didn't lose for a streak.
So they only won one game under Voss.
Yeah. Yes. Round 1 against Richmond. That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they lost an opening round. So they were down again. They lost the game to Sydney. There was a string of fourth quarter fade outs.
Yeah. So North, Sydney in the second half generally. Richmond, there was a fourth quarter fade out.
Yeah.
Who else?
Melbourne.
Yes.
Remember
terrible.
they were pumping Melbourne.
They were killing him.
And then they lost that one. So it was just almost happening every
St.
week.
Kilda?
It was predictable. Yeah, I think there was a St Kilda game in there.
Yeah.
So predictable. They get Josh Fraser in. That's gone.
Yeah.
It's
Absurd.
absolutely gone. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen anymore.
Yeah,
They
that's
were winning
crazy.
this game last quarter. They were up by about 5 goals. Like, I had there was no threat that was going to happen.
Yeah. No chance. Somebody did say that they've never seen the crowd die as a result of an injury. Oh, there was Rogie.
Oh, yeah.
Never seen a crowd die in response to a player's injury. It's like they saw Naz get injured and go, "Yep, it's over." Yeah, that's
You actually
their
did.
reaction,
You heard the crowd gasp even on the broadcast. You could hear it.
Wow. He was pretty much their biggest hope. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they would have won the game, but you can't rule out anything with Naz.
No, you can't. I mean, yeah, once he was off the ground, they weren't going to have like an individual performance good enough to kind of get back into it.
Yeah.
Rogie says, "Remember what I said, Deal? They don't beat us." Yeah, you probably.
Yeah, I think Collingwood would get him.
Connor says, "Would you pick Melbourne or Carlton in an elimination final?"
Melbourne at the G.
Melbourne at the G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be tasty.
It'd be tasty.
That would be tasty.
Because they had that big final back in 23, I reckon.
Yep.
Where Carlton knocked them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That year, Carlton came from 15th.
They did too.
They were on a massive run. So,
yeah. So what do you reckon happens with Josh Fraser? Is it a simple, like the way that I see this, I do think that it's a risk giving it to a caretaker coach because I watch a lot of soccer and this happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You bring in a new coach, they go on a run, the new manager bounce. Like it's a thing. It happens. You go on a run and then you appoint that coach the start of the next season and they start losing games and it all goes to shit. So I think there is a risk in that. The problem is with AFL, he's now got, because of the run that he's been on, he's now got the best evidence of a senior coach to be able to pick from. Whereas in soccer, you've got options.
yeah.
If the caretaker coach that you bring in does really well, there's always somebody else that's doing well. In this particular scenario, you would have to pick somebody else over Josh Fraser that's probably never had a look at coaching, or if you go for like a Longmire or you can't go Hinkley now, can you? Buckley or somebody. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to be a wet blanket here, but I do think that so much of this has come from the playing group. Like, I don't think that, I don't want to take anything away from Josh Fraser, but the idea that he's a masterclass from a coaching point of view has turned this club around is absurd.
Yeah,
I think he knows that too, and that's why he's very
apologetic of
respectful.
Respectful
whatever
of
it
the,
is.
yeah. No, well, I sort of agree with you because you go back to like the preseason, and I I was pretty not big on Carlton, but I was like, they can finish in the top 8. They're better than what they did last year. Their players are quite good. They are a bit of an unbalanced team. But you go back to what they did in the off season, and I've actually got like a graphic on my thing in this game, and it's it's the Chris Davies quote. On balance, we think our team will be better this year, and I think there's truth in that. They lose Curnow.
They are better now.
They are they actually are. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you've got to you've still got to give it to Josh Fraser for getting.
Credit,
He's got to get some credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I sort of do agree with you.
Yeah, because I can't help but shake this feeling Carlton's going to come out and underwhelm for the first part of next year and then go good again. It's kind of something they've done before.
Yeah.
They're a little temperamental.
They are. Yeah.
They're, with all due respect, they're the biggest vibes team of all the vibes teams, which is when they believe they probably can just about beat everyone. But there's a huge gap to what they look like without that belief.
What would they have to do, or what would they have to do this season for you to go, okay, Josh Fraser?
I'm not against Josh Fraser getting the job as such. I think it's fair enough. I mean, his resume would stack up against is the point you just made before versus an untried G in Syracuse or whatever.
If you went for Enright, for example, it's kind of like, well, now you're just sort of guessing.
Yeah, but I think they could shoot themselves in the foot if they assume Josh Fraser has pulled the strings of this revival entirely on his own. Is an important end to that sentence. He's obviously doing something right that Voss wasn't, but at the same time, this has come from the playing group, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think I get you. I think you're giving an enormous amount of disrespect to Josh Fraser, but I get you.
No, I don't mean to.
No, I fully understand and I sort of agree with you. I think it's weird. Sometimes these things are really difficult to explain. They needed to sack Voss. And it almost didn't matter who they got. That's kind of where I sit on it to some degree. Yeah, to some degree. Obviously, like if you put me in there, I probably would have fucked it.
Yeah, probably. But
like they could have got any one of those top. Like they could have got an Enright. They could have got whoever.
Yeah.
It's hard to. It's just because they've been so good. It's hard to argue that somebody else would have done this good.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's a particularly compelling run.
Yeah.
Like Solomon didn't get this out of Essendon. No. Not that he was ever going to.
But Solomon's not blessed with a talented list. Like Carlton, above average talent, at least.
If Solomon did this with Essendon, that would be bigger than the turd that I polished with the Crows in the Richmond review.
Yeah, no, that would be completely different. But Carlton in the past have shown they're temperamental.
Ah, yeah.
So we'll see.
High emotions at that football club.
Yeah.
They could be sacking another coach, Jesse says. Within months.
No.
We'll do one of those coach tier lists and you'll be like, he'll get sacked.
Yeah. But the media beat up with Josh Fraser, and I don't want to keep talking him down. But they could beat West Coast. And the articles will be that week. Oh, well, they have to give him the job now.
You hate him.
I hate West Coast. No, you know what I mean. They just it's happened every week, regardless of how well they played. The Brisbane win was exceptional, though.
You really want to sack coaches this week?
You
wanted to sack Ross Lyon.
Ross Lyon's gone in a year, I reckon. Let's be real.
Man, you never do this. I love it. Saucy Jesse.
Be honest with your prediction. Do you think Ross Lyon survives end of next year?
He's on thin ice.
I'll give him a 20% chance.
20. Okay, what can I do?
Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. I think it's 30%.
They have to be good next year. They have to be good.
They're talented, but
I think they'll pop next year.
Okay, fair enough.
I think they'll pop.
They could.
Yeah. That's my take on them. But jeez, I've been wrong before, Jesse. Okay, what do we have? Redback Spider says, okay, there's a conversation. Hanjo Shimada says, in 2024, they came out and were top 2 for the first 12 weeks of that season. Is that Carlton?
Sorry, which one?
2024, were they top 2 for the first 12 weeks?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
There's a lot going on in the chat at the moment.
I don't think so. 2024.
I'm trying to think. So 2023, they made the prelim.
Yeah.
24 would have been they got knocked out in the elimination by
they
Brisbane.
lost
But
to-
what did they do that?
Yeah,
They might have been up there in the start
that's
of that
possible,
season.
actually. Yeah, I said
Yeah.
no very confidently. I'm not actually sure.
I can't remember though.
Just on one more thing about Fraser. Carlton are now sort of backed into this corner where if they don't go with Fraser, they're going to get so much negative press.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from their fans.
Yeah, because they love him.
Yeah.
Because that's that emotional element to the club. If
Yeah.
somebody does what they've done, you can't get rid of your own.
And I don't know, did you see Sam Walsh's interview about it?
No.
He got interviewed, I reckon, during this week. And
After the game? Or?
no, I reckon it was prior to the St Kilda game.
Okay.
And they were asking him pointed questions about Josh Fraser and whether he'd get the job. I think the question was like, would you be happy to play for a coach like that? And you could tell he'd been told not to say anything, and he just danced around the issue and got real weird. He's just kind of like, yeah, well, like it all depends on Josh Fraser's decision-making process. And then just started talking all this shit and then like clearly avoiding the question.
Yeah.
And then they asked him to clarify it, and he still danced away from it. So it's funny that like the players have
They're
clearly
like,
been
use your
briefed.
words. Use your words, Sam.
You could have easily just said, yeah, like, but the problem is that they know that the media will turn that into an article no matter what he says.
Yeah, totally.
But my point where actually I was going with that was I wonder how the playing group would feel if they don't go with Josh Fraser.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I mean, like if you'd have asked the player, like it felt like, and I actually do believe that this is true. If you'd have asked the players, do you want to get rid of Michael Voss? They'd have all said, no,
That's
we don't.
true,
We don't
yeah.
want to get rid of Michael Voss.
Yeah.
They. It's not like Michael Voss had lost them,
Yeah.
but I think, well, I say that. I think he had lost them, but not from
Yeah,
a
yeah.
connection point of view, if that makes
From
sense.
a
It was more
belief and-
subliminal.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like a faith and commitment to the cause kind of point of view, of course.
But I
Yeah.
think they really liked him still.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I do wonder, do Carlton lose a bit of momentum if they don't go with Josh Fraser? You know
Well,
what I mean?
what
Or does
does
the
it-
dust settle at the end
This
of
is
the year?
this is a question for you. Should they, to get maximum out of this season, should they actually announce him before the end of this season to give it a bit of legs, and then they could support the 2026 season? Or do they really have to sit back and go, forget what he's doing now, we're not going to try and put any energy behind that, and we'll just make the decision in time?
I think you have to make the decision in time. You don't want to be seen as a club that's making a rash decision, potentially for outside expectations.
Think of the vibes, though.
I know, that's the problem. You can't make decisions like that on vibes. They'll get crucified for that.
Yeah, they will.
Especially like what if they re-sign him and they get bundled out in week
Well,
one?
that's the thing.
And then
That's what you see a lot in soccer, where this happens, and then literally the minute that they re-sign the coach, it just falls apart. It happens all the time. The only difference in that sport is then they just change the coach again.
yeah,
It's like, doesn't seem to be any...
system.
Yeah,
or mad, like,
it's just like whatever.
no rhyme or reason. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Marcus GTF says, have it on good authority, Voss completely lost the players and they didn't want to play under him. Hence Kerno Sauce leaving, etc. Kerno would have stayed if it wasn't the coach. So I had heard that about Kerno, but I don't think from what I hear that wasn't completely club wide. That was like a specific thing.
Yeah, right. Rings a bell a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what
know,
that was over though. I can't remember what their specific.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Connor says thoughts on this. Jack Viney coming back for the first time in 12 months through the VFL and Latrell Pickett. Ooh.
Oh no. Didn't say
Caught on
that.
alcohol while on concussion protocol. I haven't heard that.
That's not ideal. I haven't heard that at all.
Yeah, if that's true. I haven't.
Yeah. But Jack Viney coming back for the first time in 12 months through the VFL. Oh, that's a good result.
Yeah, for Jack Viney.
Yeah. No need to rush him into the team.
I chucked him on the trade table this afternoon in one of our videos.
Yeah, he did, Tassie. Yeah.
Get rid. Alrighty, guys. I think that's an episode.
You're also a Bailey Fridge hater.
Jeez, I copped it for that, didn't I? Jesus. He turned into Wayne Carey.
Yeah. Prime Ronaldinho.
Yeah, he was good at the weekend.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So Langford did me a solid.
Yeah.
He lifted and Fritsch fucked me over.
Yeah. Fridge did you a gas.
He did me a gas. Exactly, Jesse. I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yep.
We have been pounding the stream. Is that a thing people say?
Why did you pause? Yeah.
Just wanted to connect with your eyes.
Yeah, that was lengthy. Sounds good.
Sheed from the boundary says, just let Latrell have a beer.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, Lewis has given one comment here. Hey, boys. Not too sure if you've discussed it, but does Gross get another AFL game? He looked good as a small half forward. You kind of said that before, didn't you, Jesse?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think you can't drop him after that. That would be really stiff. I would have thought. It's not as though we have a player coming back or stiff competition in that part of the ground.
Stop saying stiff.
I did say stiff a couple of times. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you Googled in the toilets?
Yes.
You're like,
so many ways I could go with that joke.
we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Connor says, how do you spell panificus?
It's not a word. I should clarify. Yeah.
No, it is. Put that in your VCE.
No, it's
in your application.
And then study English.
Mr. Harrison, can I be feeling thoroughly pounded? I need to use panificus in my English exam. How do you spell it?
FART.
FART.
It's one of the worst jokes I've ever made on here. But we've been here for many hours. I've done 4 videos in a stream today.
We've done a lot today.
Yeah.
We have done a lot. And we will be back on Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night. Hawks and the Pies. Watch it with us here with Ben Q.
Come to the flat with Benny. We've got Benny all getting warmed up. I don't know why I'm rubbing it like this. I'm getting weird.
It's getting.
Thank you for being with us, guys. We'll see you in the next stream.
Thank you very much.